Welcome, wonderful, crafty family. How on earth is your day going thus far? I hope you are having a fabulous one. Now, crafty family, just budge over a little bit. Hello, puppies. Hello, how's your day? Because it is, of course, International Dog Day today. We had loads of people sending in pictures of their pooch pals earlier on in the morning show, and we want more this afternoon, please, because that is what this show is all about, looking at pictures of dogs, but also we are going to be crafting for dogs with the fabulous Becky. Hi, Becky.
Hello. Nice to see you.
To see you.
Nice.
We should have our own show.
We should. And I have to say, I just love your dress.
Oh.
And it makes me want to eat licorice all sorts.
You're so nice. I'm glad it's licorice all sorts and not the dress. We've got some makes for pups today, haven't we?
Yeah, so I thought, as it's International Dog Day, we do lots of things about dogs today. So we've got a few little things. I'm going to show you how to make a little bandana for the dogs with our fabric of the week, a lead, a cushion, almost like a thronal kind of cushion to put your princess pooch or prince pooch on top of, and also a little grooming bag as well. So all using our fabric of the week. So hopefully you'll enjoy that. Also can be adapted for cats. So I don't want to, make any felines feel like we're not thinking about them. But as it's International Dog Day, it's got to be about the dogs. Got to be about the dags.
The dags. We have got for you some incredible treats on this show. Fabric of the week, as we've spoken about. I'll tell you more about that in a moment. Let me remind you, it's Fiver Friday. That means if you go onto our website, we've got some things that cost just £5. So do feel free to head on over. There's some Totally Tiffany stuff in there, which I know you love. I've got fab files in there and other treats as well. So just thought I would let you know about that. We've got loads of people getting in touch with us already. It's our social superstar Susie in with you, looking after you today. So do feel free to get in touch with us on socials. If you don't have pictures of dogs, maybe you want to tell us your dog name stories. So we were talking about where people get their dog names from. Do let us know that. We'd love to hear that on socials. We are going to start off by bringing you a Leanne Secret Treat bag. Now, I'm just going to grab it. I put it slightly out of my arm's length. I do apologise. And this one is a Christmas collaboration. Now, this is a papercraft surprise, and I do like to keep the surprise a surprise, so you know the drill by now. If you don't want to know what is in this, close your eyes now. I won't mention it, and then we'll go through them. So, eyes closed. Let's have a little look. So in here, we're going to be bringing to you lots of treats that are festive feeling. So you've got some things in here which are consumables, but you've also got some things in here that you will use time and time and time again, day in, day out. We have got some absolute essentials and we've got some fabulous treats. Now, if you are looking at this and you're thinking, Bex, I am loving what I am seeing, but I've got, 50% of the things you're showing me, it doesn't matter. Because today, at that price on your screen, you are getting such a treat of a deal that even if you did have half of this, actually, you have got the opportunity to save a dramatic amount of money. In fact, you are saving nearly £113. But people who've still got their eyes closed, do keep them closed. I'm sorry, this is just taking ages because there's so much in here. There is so much in here, there really, really is. So those are your treats. Let me count them for you. I've got 1, 2, this is an easier way to do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 items for £35 or $45. You can open your eyes now. That is a mega amount of treats that we have got in here, and it's hardly costing you anything because you've got all of those fabulous bits. So I will let you know that I've got this one, which is the Christmas one. I've also got an everyday one, and the everyday one is, I've said it earlier, so I'll say it again. It is my favourite of kind of the goodie bags that we've ever done. There are treats in here that we've never brought to you on show before. So again, I'm going to show you this one. Close your eyes if you don't want to see it. But we have got some serious treats in here. If you like a little bit of shimmer, I've got you covered. Let me just say to you that this alone is worth the price that is on your screen. This alone. Now bear that in mind because I have also got for you added special extras. Again, in here you have got more elements in this that are steadfast. I think there's only one consumable in here. So you have got absolutely oodles and oodles of goodies. If you're liking this so far, I've not even got to the best bit. I love that collection massively. We have got lots of elements in here. Some of them you're going to keep and use forever. Some of them are consumable, as you can see. And some of them, quite frankly, are just what everybody wants to get their hands on.
Oh, I definitely want that.
Isn't
I
that
haven't got one of those.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Isn't that really cool? This is the one that everybody is wanting and fighting for. It comes guaranteed in this box. But you do have to be quick because, in all honesty, for that and that final piece alone, I would be happy to pay that price point on screen, let alone everything else. So that is very special. Surprises, you can open your eyes-as. That could be my tagline. We have got that for you today at just £35 or $45. But I will let you know, they were on yesterday with Leanne, and so they have been popular, so they are low in stock. Let me tell you about the fabric of the week. And as soon as I say the word Liberty, what springs to mind for you, Bea?
Expensive, quality, tiny designs, really intricate designs.
Yeah.
And that's what you've effectively got there, isn't it?
This is completely it. I feel like if you look at this, you can tell this is Liberty fabric. And Liberty fabric is costly, to say the least. I've seen, there's a craft fair near us that happens like once a month, and there is a person who sells very, very small things made of Liberty, like offcuts, so very, very small, like a hair bow, very, very small little things. And those things, for a tiny hair bow, from my memory, I think she sells them for about £20.
Wow.
And it's because it's Liberty fabric.
Yeah.
That is why, people do pay that. We are bringing to you a selection here. Some of these already are low in stock, so please just select the one you want or the two you want, quick, sharp, and check them out. So this one here is your golden, what is it?
Ochre.
Ochre. Oh, I was saying orca before. That is an animal. Anyway, I've got your golden there. I have also got for you your tangerine. I think this has got that really nice 60s vibe. It's kind of that colour that it's juicy. It's really lovely. I think that's a beautiful one. We've got our CTV colour here with our damson. So this has got a really nice rich purple to it. And look at the detail on this. Look at the artistry. This is what Liberty is all about. It's that artistry. It's those little ditzy details in here. It's almost like quite a lot of movement in here, which is beautiful. I've also got for you our magenta, real nice pop of magenta here. Do get this home to see it in real life because the colour itself is quite individual. I've also got for you my pink. Now these two, if I show you them together, if you like to do tonal designs, they're going to work really, really nicely, sort of paired up. So do think about buying them together if you want them both. So the pink is there, the one that no one can forget the name of, Caterpillar. We have got here the beautiful Caterpillar hue, and if I just show you a slightly larger section, you can see that that tone and that unique pinpoint of colour is so individual. It's really unique, it's really different. I really appreciate that one. Then I've got for you our sapphire. Now sapphires, as we know, come in many, many, many different colours, but blue is the one that people think of the most. And this really is that really intense, deep blue. It's got a really nice homeware feel to it as well, I think, because I know that blues are in homeware at the moment. I've also got for you your crimson. This is a really nice red. It's not quite pillar box red or post box red, but it's not too far off. And then last but by no means least, I have got for you the green, which is your evergreen. And let me just show it to you with my Caterpillar colour as well, because I think those two together work so nicely. And remember, when you're working greens in together, the human eye picks up more shades of green than any other colour on the planet. So even though there's a slight difference in these, we can see it much clearer. So it's quite nice if you like just a little twist on something traditional. So that one there is your evergreen. So remember that you're buying these in 1/2 meters, but say I wanted a meter's worth of this, all I'd need to do is grab 2 of them, and then it will come as a full meter. So do seize the moment on those ones whilst you can. Shall we get crafted? Yay! Okay, we're talking builder block, and the builder block that we've got for you is definitely gonna make you smile. This is a really cool builder block collection, isn't it, Becky?
It is. I'm just grabbing my actual package so you can see. So we've got the Catherine wheel. So this is one of the Karen Lewis builder block, who was, she's a very sort of well-known quilting designer and textile designer. And she did a range for us with the builder blocks. So she's designed the actual pattern, and then we've created the dies, so you can produce these blocks together. And inside this pack, you'll also get 3 different projects in there. So you'll get the projects to make the bag, the wall hanging, and the large quilt, as well as how to make a block. So this is what I'm going to use today. Now, I have brought the samples with me so you can see exactly what they look like. So it's very difficult to see just from that photo. But you can see how, you know, these are quite sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Almost like geometric kind of shapes. You've got no curves in there, but you get this great kind of sense of feeling. It does feel like a Catherine wheel. You do feel everything sort of spinning around.
Yeah.
And you get this great sort of star look to it. Now that's one of the wall hangings, but by using the block in a slightly different way, you can get a different feel to it. So this is, you know, using the same shapes, but again, you've got a slightly different feel to the project that you've got there, all using just block colours. Obviously it'll look totally different if you're going to use some patterned fabrics. And then again, different again, this bag. So again, you'll get all the instructions how to make this bag, but this bag is just made with those blocks again and some elongated pieces. So this is what I'm going to be using today. Now, I had to use all of the fabric of the week because it's such beautiful fabric, I couldn't stop using it. And as you can see, all of my dies are well used, they're well loved, these dies, because I've used them quite often because I really like these kind of shapes. It's great for large patterns actually, because you've got quite big pieces, and this is a really good builder block for someone who perhaps hasn't had a go at using our builder blocks before, hasn't had too much of a go doing patchwork, because you've got no curves in it, it's just straight pieces, it makes it all really, really easy. Now, these are our multimedia dies, so they're going to be able to cut up to, well, actually I cut 8 layers of fabric with these the other day, 8 or 10 layers of fabric, and you've got these little corners cut off of these triangles. So these are actual triangle pieces, but you've got these little, what we call dog ears, these little pieces that have been cut off automatically. So if you were cutting this as a full triangle, you would need to trim those little edges off once you sew it together. But because we've already taken into account a 1/4 inch seam allowance and we've trimmed everything, it means that it's going to make it really easy for you to cut all your pieces out. So I'm going to grab my fabric, which I should just pop down here. Make sure I've got all the right pieces.
Whilst you're looking for that, let me say hello, Sarah. Sarah Brown's in with us today in her sofa. Hello again, my crafty peeps and the 2 Beckys. I'm here from Australia. I'm actually in bed now. It is 11 p.m. on a Friday night. Nice way to spend a Friday evening. Nice. We've got people sending in pictures of their dogs for International Dog Day. Yes, keep them coming on in. We'd love to see it. And Laurie has come up with some ideas of configurations for these colours, saying that the caterpillar and tangerine would be good together for fall or autumn, and that the crimson and evergreen would be great for Christmas.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that is a perfect idea. I really like that. If you do want to see any of these colour combos together, you want me to show that colour with that colour, message me and I'll do that for you. That's what I'm here for. But yeah, great idea on those combos.
It is a great idea, because sometimes you just look at them and just think, oh, what am I going to use them right now? But
Totally.
actually a great opportunity to pick them up ready for Christmas. Now, when we go through, in each of our builder blocks, we have a little booklet in there which gives you all the information about how to put everything together, but it also gives you details about the grain line. So this is the grain line is what I'm slightly torn. I'm just going to put my piece of fabric over there so you can't see my tear. Now, if you don't know what a grain line is, if you're new to sewing, I'll explain. So the grain line is to do with how the fabric is produced. So basically, fabric is produced by having long straight lines going up and down, and then other lines of thread going from right to left. So the one that goes up and down is called the warp, and the one that goes from right to left is a weft, and that weaves in and out of those straight lines. So basically, if you think of fabric, it's almost like a piece of graph paper. That's how it, if you went, you put it under a microscope, that's how it would look like. So it's important to have the grain line. You're cutting your fabric along the straight, and that is the piece that goes up. So what we will do is, when we buy a piece of fabric, you will have what we call the selvage edge, which is these edges here. Now, these are the bits that go on the left and the right hand side of the fabric. So when you buy your piece of fabric and you buy it on the bolt, as it were, these are the bits on the edge. So we know if this is on the edge and it's straight, then your grain line is going up this way. But if you didn't have this and you didn't know, you would have to try and work it out. Now, the way you work it out is by giving the fabric a pull. So if I pull the fabric this way, there's a bit of stretch here.
Yeah.
But if I pull the fabric this way, there's no stretch. So that's how I know that that is my grain line, that's my warp, and this way is my weft. Now, if you were going to be cutting something, it's more important when you're cutting curves to make sure you get everything right, because you can imagine if one of these shapes had a curve which went round like this, you'd be having an awful lot more stretch. You see there's a huge amount more stretch here. And when you're cutting on a curve, you don't want to stretch your fabric, because then when you're sewing it together, it won't all fit together. So that's sort of like a quick idea about how grain lines work. Now, you'll see here, it gives you the details about how you want the pieces of fabric laid out when you put them through the die cutting machine, and how you want your fabric to be laid out. So that's what we're going to do. Now, as I flick through the little booklet, it will show you how many of each shape, and each colour, if you're going to go by the approximate colours that we're using on, they've used on this demonstration here, how many you need. And it also, if you can see just here, you've got these little asterisks, and this is to indicate whether your fabric needs to be facing the wrong side of the die. Sorry, the fabric is facing the wrong side or the right side when you're cutting it. So you can imagine if I have a piece of fabric like this and I just fold it over and then I put my die on top of it, when I actually come to cut it out, I have one piece of fabric facing one way and one facing the other. So I'll end up with pieces of fabric possibly that I don't necessarily need because they're the wrong shape. So depending on which shape you're going to be making, which project you're going to be doing, you may need to have some facing one way or some facing another. So it's just something for you to look at. I know that all of my pieces of fabric face the same way, and it's cut with the right side of the fabric facing the die. So this would be wrong. I would want all my pieces of fabric to be being cut like this today. So I'm just going to go ahead and put some through. So I've already got some ready cut out. Now I've just folded this piece of fabric in half, but I'm going to cut it so I can make sure that my fabric is all facing the right way. So I want my fabric facing, the right side of my fabric facing upwards, like that. And I want to use this die here first of all. I'm going to make sure it's the right way round, so I'm just going to use it like this, and I'll put that through the machine.
Lovely.
So I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to trim this because what I want to do is once I've run it through the machine, I then will see if I can fit another one up here.
Perfect.
So you can cut up to 8 layers of fabric, but I'm just going to cut 2 for the moment. I'm using my fabric plates here. So I've got my clear plate, I've got my fabric plate, I've got my fabric facing upwards, I've got the die, then I've got my other fabric plate over the top, and then I've got my clear plate over that to create that sandwich. So I'm just going to run that through the machine. Now all of these other shapes will work in exactly the same way, so you just need to make sure you have them with the fabric facing upwards, ensure that they cut the right way. Now it made a bit of a bang. That's because I put everything really straight onto my cutting plate, so it obviously went around this piece and made a bit of a bang, but there's nothing wrong with that noise. And you can see those 2 pieces being cut out perfectly. Obviously if that piece of fabric was facing the other way, I would have 2 pieces of fabric, no, one the right way, one the wrong way. So I'm going to run it through again, and I can just fit that on a second time. I will put a bit of tape on there just to make sure it doesn't move, but I want to try and get as much use out of that fabric as I possibly can, because no, fabric isn't cheap, let's be honest. You know, fabric is, if you're buying good quality fabric, and Liberty fabric is good quality fabric, you don't want to waste anything at all.
No.
You know, you want to make the most of it, don't you?
Definitely.
And obviously with these little shapes, these little dies that we're using, you can use all those different scraps of fabric that you've got. And I like that idea you were saying about doing sort of tonal stuff. You know, these you could have lots of different greens. You could have these greens from the show we've got today. You could also have different greens from other fabrics, and just use all those little samples and do all of this in a different kind of green.
Lovely.
So I've cut those 2 as well. So that's basically what we do with those dies.
Great.
Now I'll show you how I'm going to put everything together. So I have already pre-cut my shapes.
And just in case you are new as well, if you don't use a die cutting machine, or you don't get collections like this where it cuts out your fabric, you would have to cut your fabric out by hand, which is time consuming. You can see that's done in a few seconds. But also, if you're anything like me, and I will try and be precise as best as I can, I just don't naturally have that ability within me. But with this, you get the right cut every single time.
Everything's been thought about. So the 1/4 of an inch seam allowance has been thought about. Everything is going to match. And you're absolutely right. I mean, if I had to cut these out by hand, well, I wouldn't, quite frankly. I just wouldn't get it done.
No.
It wouldn't happen. It just wouldn't. No, it wouldn't be something I could do.
No, me neither.
So it makes a big difference being able to do this.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do here is I'm just following this little pattern here. So I'm taking my piece of fabric, which is this one here, and then I want to put this one here. So you can see I'm just going to build up this particular little design. So I'm going to make this little piece here, and then I'm going to make two sets of two triangles and attach them together, and then that makes that one section.
Great.
Which forms part of the block. So what I'm going to do is I've already got a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance foot on my machine, and so I'm just going to start sewing everything together. So I'm just going to fold over those 2 pieces, so we've got right sides together, and you can see that everything's matching up. So where we've got this point here, which would have been like a proper triangle point here, because we've cut off that dog ear because that's how the die has been created. It means that we lose all that extra bulk we would have had normally when we're sewing, and it means we don't have to trim that little piece off. So we're just going to sew along here, 1/4 of an inch seam allowance.
Lovely. Loads of you getting involved with us. Mary Patson, yay, saying hello, good morning from sunny Montana. Hello, Becky and Becky. I've been listening whilst inventorying my CC softer side goodies that were delivered yesterday. Exciting unboxing. There is that feeling that a knock on the door when you know you've got a lot of crafty stuff coming. It's good, isn't it?
You get a parcel and you think, oh, I don't know what I've ordered here.
Yeah,
I've forgotten that.
I love
so
that.
sometimes I get boxes of product that arrive for me, which are for a show, and I'm not expecting them. It's a new product that's arriving.
Yeah.
So for me, it's all quite gleeful. I'm like, oh, it's so exciting.
Gleeful.
This next triangle I'm going to be using, I just need to check on my little booklet. So you'll see here, we've got 3 different triangles here. They all look very, very similar, but they're not actually. They're all slightly different. So I want to make sure that I'm using the same triangle, the correct triangle for this particular project. So where it says here, with right sides together, sew shapes D5 and A1. That's D5 is one of these ones. Is this one here, and it's got a triangle which the point just goes off at the end this way. So that's the one I'm going to use. So I'm going to put this. I want that to go here.
Lovely.
So again, if I fold it over, you will see that everything matches up. This little point here. If I picked the wrong triangle, which would be this one, wrong triangle. It sounds like a Wallace and Gromit show. The wrong triangle, Gromit. You can see that doesn't match. That doesn't look right because it's the wrong triangle. So we're going to put this one here.
That's good.
And stitch it together.
Mary Pat's actually said, I love how easily everything matches up, which I think you're proving perfectly now. If you are a soft crafter, do let us know kind of how you got into soft crafts, because I'd be really interested to know, because I know full well that there might also be some people who've never tried soft craft. Maybe you are a card maker usually, but you're just tuning in for this to be a bit different. Because I do think that people say, oh, if you're a crafter, you're a crafter, you'll craft anything. But I do think there's a big difference in sewing and the likes of card making. So do feel free to message in and let us know if you do sew, what got you into it. But if you don't sew, what is it about it that you've not? Why haven't you dived in? I always think you should be doved in.
Yeah,
but
no, I agree with you, but it's not, is it?
It's not, doesn't make sense. But yes, because sewing it's a lot of fun. It really, truly is.
You sew, don't you?
Yes, I do. I'm complete and absolute basic beginner. I've never put a zip on anything. But it's something that I'd always liked the idea of, like being able to make your own clothes and things. I just think is so magical and wonderful. And so I went to like a class that showed you how to make a skirt, and quite frankly, I love sewing now. I just wish I had more time and was better at it.
I think that's the thing, isn't it? You run out of time. A few years ago, I made the agreement with my family that I wasn't going to buy any clothes that whole year. I was just going to make everything, and then I was like, actually, I won't make underwear because that's a bit tricky.
Yeah.
And then bit by bit, I lasted about 5 months.
That's really
not buying anything, not making anything either. But we're determined not to buy anything. But yeah, it doesn't. You just run out of time, unfortunately.
Do you? We were just talking about the sewing bee, which I absolutely love. Would you go on sewing bee? Maybe you wouldn't be allowed because you do it as a job.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't be able to do it. And actually, I don't know if I'd be. It's been such a long time since I've had the opportunity to sort of play about. Obviously I get the opportunity to play about with these things, but they're making outfits out of tents. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think I need to spend a bit of time doing that, and I do watch it. I don't watch it all the time, but I do watch bits of it. And obviously, Adam, who covered for me on the holiday, he's ex-sewing bee as well.
So
yeah, I should watch it more. But again, it's one of those things you run out of time, don't you?
True.
That's how it is. Right, so what I've done here, I've done this this group of 2 triangles. We want to do another one here, but I haven't cut a green one. But then we would put these 2 together. So you can see this patch here, this part here, and then we would put our next piece. Which way round are you? Getting it round the right way. It would be this way, and we'd have another green piece here, and we'd sew those together. So your piece will look like this, and that's your finished section of your block. But your block is a group of 4, so you've got all these other ones here. Now, depending on how you lay them out, will be how you create that kind of design. So this way, if we put that other one round here. You create almost like you can see there's like a star spinning round, but very busy with all these different fabrics. But I just thought they look quite nice with lots of different, same fabric, but all these different shades. Now, what I have done is I have sewn all those 4 pieces together. And so there's my piece here. So you can see you've got this kind of swirly Catherine wheel around the outside. Now I wanted to make this into a cushion cover. For this will be the one cushion the dog is allowed to sit on, and possibly will be the one cushion the dog doesn't want to sit on, because he always likes to sit on the more intricate cushions at home. I've taken some of the fabric, I've taken some of that sapphire blue fabric, and I've just cut some strips and I put them down either side here. I'm going to do exactly the same up here. So I've got these 2 more strips here. And I'm making a really quick and easy, or as my mum would say, quick and dirty cushion cover. So it's just going to be really, really simple. So all I've done here, I've just done a block in the middle, and I'm just doing strips around the outside. I'm not even going to trim the other sides here yet. I'm just going to stitch these together first of all, and I'm going to do the same with the other side. And this is going to make the finished sort of panel for the cushion. So I've made quite a large cushion today because my dog's quite big.
Oh,
he's not as big as yours, but he is quite big.
Yeah, lovely. Yes, it is International Dog Day, so we are talking dog makes. We've got more dog makes to come, including some quirky ones on the way for you. Sandra has said, "Hi, Becky Squared." Love it. My hubby has asked if they are soft crafting, does that mean that I'm a hard crafter? I just looked at him. Yeah, I can imagine, with a little eye roll, was it? I bet he thought he was hilarious, didn't he?
That's such a man thing to say, isn't it?
Yeah, I love it. Rosalind's saying, I've been sewing since I was a child. Every home in our family had a sewing machine, so I started with dolls' clothes. I'm currently working on the 4 Seasons quilt with Bernie's sewing group. That's brilliant. I love that you started when you were really, really young, and it was, it sounds like it's sort of built into your family. I think that's beautiful. I'm a bit jealous.
A few weeks ago, I had all my family over, so all my mum's family, so my cousins, my uncles and aunts, well, not all of them, but some of them, for a barbecue. So we normally have a big party on Boxing Day, and we didn't have it last year. So this was like to make up for the fact that we didn't all meet up. And I was doing working on a big project, a big sewing project for a show I was doing, and I was running out of time, and I said to a couple of my cousins, now everyone in my family sews. Everybody makes things. So there's artists, there's stylists, there's stained glass designers. Everybody makes stuff in the family. And I said to my cousins, oh, can you give me a hand? And they were like, yeah, that's fine. And then I showed them what I was doing, and they were like, no, that looks too complicated. And I was like, no, really, what I'm doing isn't complicated. It's not complicated at all. But when they see the designs that you can create using a builder block, initially it looks quite frightening, and then you realise, actually, I can make this really simply because I'm using the builder block. But if they were looking at this, they'd be like, I don't know where to start. I've got to cut all those little shapes out. There's no way I can do that. And I've definitely converted a few of my family members into using the builder block system because it does make so much sense. But it does, unfortunately, because everybody's really good at sewing, it's very difficult for anybody to think what you're doing is any good, because they all think it's, oh yeah, I could do that. Wedding dress in the afternoon, yeah, I can make that up. Whereas, my husband just goes, oh, that's amazing you've sewn on that button. He's easily impressed.
I love that. Yeah. That's brilliant. That's so nice. Laura is saying, I am loving this fabric. Looks great, doesn't it, Laura? It's really nice. Mary Pat is talking about how you got into sewing. And you've been sewing for since you were 9 years old, and you learnt it through school. You continued to do home ec in high school. You absolutely love sewing. That's beautiful that you've been doing it since, again, it sounds like quite a few of you started when you were really, really young. Did you start when you were really young, Becky?
Yeah, I mean, it was what was expected.
Right.
I remember being young. I mean, I'm talking of like under 4, and I had a button sewing game, and the game was to sew buttons, as many buttons onto a picture as you possibly could. I mean, you know, it's one of those educational games that your parents buy you. Yeah. So I mean, I was sort of not even at school, but I could sew on a button. So when people say to me, oh, I can't sew on a button, I find it quite weird. And in fact, my daughter says the same thing when she's at university, how many people don't know, like just general, you know, how to hem a pair of trousers or how to sew on a button, how to, you know, just not necessarily make any clothes, but, you know, just to fix things that have gone wrong with your own clothes. And she said it's just mind-boggling, and you just sort of think, well, how can you not know? And I think one of the problems is you don't tend to I don't think you do many home economics classes anymore. I don't think that really happens. Not so much. I mean, I remember sewing at school, but it certainly wasn't school that taught me to sew.
Right.
But, you know, I think that is one of the problems we tend to have, that we don't have these home economic classes anymore.
Yeah.
So people don't do that. Jamie says she remembers making boxer shorts at school.
Really?
Do you still wear them? Do you still make your own boxer shorts, Jamie?
You still make them now? No.
Well, I'm just trimming these corners off. Well, we've got plenty of sewing machines here, Jamie, if you fancy, you know, knocking out some.
Doing something.
So we're just trimming around the edges here. Now, I'm only just doing it by eye. I'm not being too precious with it. And I'm just making sure that all those sort of corners are taken off. So where we've sewn this over here, I'm just trimming that across here, and then obviously do it around the other side. And then we're going to sew onto the back pieces. And the back pieces is just an envelope opening for the cushion. It's not anything, it hasn't got a zip or anything. Now, if it's going to be a dog cushion, it's going to be washed a lot. Now, this fabric is going to be, it's going to be machine washable, but I would suggest that if you're going to wash it a lot, I would give it a wash before you start sewing with it, just to make sure that, there's not going to be any shrinkage after you've stitched it together. Now, I've got that, that's going to be my front panel of my cushion, and then these are going to be the back pieces. So I'm going to put those right sides together. So I've already stitched along and done a sort of French seam here. And put those around here. No, that's not the right way. This way. Get it right, Becky. And
I'm just trying. Oh, right. Okay, cool.
Other Becky. It's so weird to see you after such a long time.
I know, it's so odd, because we went through a spate where, quite frankly, I couldn't get away from you. You couldn't get away from me.
I was turning up at your house and all sorts.
Yeah.
At the weekend. Oh my God, it's Becky again. No, you're right. And I think that's how it often is, isn't it, for us, that we see somebody for weeks and weeks on end, and then you don't see each other for months.
Yeah. And then when you do see each other, because you haven't seen each other for months, it's just...
I mean, I've almost forgotten your name. It's been that long.
Right, yeah. Thank goodness you didn't. Lynn is saying, I'm sure the dog will love sitting on a Liberty fabric cushion. Now, Lynn, if I walked into your house and you had a Liberty cushion just for your dog, I would think, Lynn's got this right.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Lynn, there is something about that, again, because it's Liberty fabric, what a pampered pooch. There's something very special about that. I actually really love that.
Yeah.
It's great. We will be making more pooch-inspired pieces, or felines, as you said, for International Dog Day today in a little bit. So don't forget, if you've got any questions about sewing, or maybe you've got any ideas about like dog things that you might like to
maybe
create.
Maybe put pictures of some dog things they've made. Maybe people have made like dog coats.
If you've made dog things for your dog, Send pictures of that in as well. We have got pictures coming through thick and fast. We'll have a little look at them before we go to a break.
So I'm just stitching, I'm just pinning around the outside first of all, and then I'm going to stitch all the way around. So you don't have to leave any gaps for turning through, because we're going to turn through this fold here. So it's a really quick and easy way of making a cushion cover. You just need to make sure you've got plenty of
Crossover.
yeah, like folding over, depending on how fluffy your cushion is. So I brought a cushion in from home. So I actually did take the dog cushion away, and I told the dog, look, I'm really sorry, but I'm taking your cushion away because I'm going to be making you a special cushion.
Special one.
For International Dog Day. And do you know what the dog said to me?
Go on. Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
And what did you take that to mean?
That's all right, Mum.
Right, got
And
you.
I'll see you. I'll have a little sleep on your bed while you're not here.
Lovely, good
and,
idea.
I'll see you in a couple of days.
I love that. That's funny. Do you genuinely, when the dog talks to you, think what the translation is instantly?
I think generally it is, I'm hungry, where's some food?
Right.
But he does talk to you. If you say, you know, what's wrong, he goes,
Yeah, my dog's the same. My dog's more of a, yours, I like yours is high up there. Mine's more of a, whoa, 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 whoa. She goes like, whoa, whoa, I've just had a sleep. Whoa. She's more like that. Yours is, yeah.
Mine one sounds like, what was that song? Charlie says, no, always call your mummy before you go out somewhere. No, there was oh God, what song? It was like a dance tune in the 90s, but it was based on a public information advert about this little boy.
Yeah.
And it was basically, you know, don't go off with strangers and always tell your mummy before you go out somewhere.
Right.
And the dog sort of says, and the little boy says, Charlie says, always tell your mummy before you go off somewhere and don't talk to strangers.
I do remember that, how you say it. And weirdly, it wasn't until you did the dog impression that I was like, I actually know what she's talking about now. Yeah, I do remember that.
It was a big dance tune, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Yeah, my dog sounds, and actually he's called Charlie, so maybe that's what it is,
Maybe
but he sounds exactly the same. He sounds like a famous dog. Right, so pinned around the outside, I'm just going to stitch all the way around the edge, and then we're just going to trim those little corners, so when we turn everything out, it'll have a nice point on those corners.
Sandra's messaged in saying, I started sewing and knitting age 7 when we went to junior school from infants. The whole school was split into boys and girls did sewing and knitting and boys did model making 1 afternoon a week. Model making?
Yeah, like wooden models. That's what my dad,
Got
like,
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like DT.
DT, that's
Yeah.
it. What does that stand for?
Design technology.
Design tech, that's it. Design technology. Yeah.
We didn't have that at my school.
No?
We just had home economics, and it was sewing, and we had to make a kite, because that's definitely something we all needed to learn, and how to cook, and that was pretty much it. And how to wash up. I do remember being taught how to wash up.
Yeah. Wait, sorry, you had a class in how to wash up?
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
At my daughter's school, they had a class into how to iron.
Oh,
And they
catch yourself on.
No, honestly, sixth formers.
Do you know what though? That is a very good skill.
Yeah,
to be
they didn't know
fair.
how.
It is
The
good.
boys didn't know how to iron a shirt or how to sew on a button, and that's what they were taught in their. It was like
Wow.
pre-university information class that they had.
Wow.
Nothing about how to manage your finances or anything like that.
No.
How many pints of beer can you have using your student loan? No, it was this is how you sew on a button.
How to sew on a button, how to iron.
Good life skill anyway.
It is a very good life skill, yeah. To be honest though, I am a student, so I can say this. Students, notoriously, don't iron clothes. But
No.
maybe that's why, because they don't know how to properly.
Or don't have an iron,
Yeah.
Do you go to university with an iron? I don't suppose many people do they?
No, that was the point. And yeah, an iron or, a night out with your friends. Ooh.
My daughter did go to university with a sewing machine.
I love that.
She turned
about
up
her.
with a sewing machine.
I love that.
And they also turned up with a coffee machine. 2 of them turned up with coffee machines.
Brilliant.
To go into uni.
You want to be friends with those people
Yeah.
for sure. I love that.
Absolutely. So I'm just keeping my needle in. So every time I get to a corner, I'm lifting up the foot, but my needle's still in my fabric, so I can just turn my fabric around. I don't have to sort of undo, and I'm just going around those corners. But it's quite a quick way of doing this.
Hello to Lynn, who says, when I was young, my mum used to work from home and would sew denim jeans, and I was always fascinated with her doing it and how fast she was at it. She would tell me that years ago that she worked on pith helmets, and they were worn in the movie Zulu. I obviously didn't get her jeans for sewing, although I do enjoy it when I have a go. Lynn, that's incredible, because that film is, well, it's notorious, it's massive, isn't it? But it is known for, obviously, cinematography, but what they were wearing and all of the rest of it. That's such a cool story, Lynn. Thank you for sharing that. Wow. Your dad's similar in a way. I bet he's seen quite a few of his bits and bobs on shows.
I mean, I must have driven my friends insane as a kid, because I'd always be going, oh, my dad made that. Oh, my dad made that. Every single programme we watched, Star Wars, Return of the Jedi, the stuff on Return of the Jedi that I worked on. There's all sorts of things, you know, every kind of show that was on in the 80s in the UK, my dad would have worked on. So I did a lot of stuff for Only Fools and Horses. Absolutely Fabulous.
Oh, I love that.
One of his jobs for Absolutely Fabulous was to smoke 300 cigarettes. I know, random, isn't it? So it was, there's supposed to be an overflowing, I think there was a thing where didn't Patsy burn down the kitchen? And they needed all these cigarettes, and so my dad was just given a load of cigarettes and told to smoke them. I mean, he did smoke anyway, and I remember him saying it was one of the best jobs he'd ever had. Because he was just being paid to do the thing that he did anyway.
That is bonkers.
Earning money on it.
That is bonkers.
The things like, I think, was it my mum or someone that worked with my mum, it wrote the letter that Dirty Den left to Angie when he left her, which became quite an iconic
I need to know the people that you know, Becky. I really do. This is just amazing.
So there we go. We've built our cushion, all done, ready for the dog to sit on or, you know, dribble on. But yeah, this is all made with your builder block. So if I grab my builder block package, you can see how that's going to look. So you're getting your dies in here. So you'll get you're getting your dies inside here to make those 3 different projects, and you'll get the little booklet in there. So all I've done is I've just used this one to make the actual block, and I've just added edges to it to make it a little bit bigger, but you can obviously adapt that to make it a whole quilt using that builder block.
That is wonderful. Thank you so much for showing us that. We've got more dog makes coming up. Let me just tell you, this is your builder block. Can I suggest you get your phone out now to take a picture of the back of this if you're planning on getting it, just because it does have things like the amount of fabric that you're going to want for the different designs. Obviously, it's always better to have more fabric than less, but you can just take a picture of that. It's the information here. Take a picture of it. You'll be able to zoom on in if you do want it. So, for example, on this one here, it's saying you're going to want 1 meter of fabric on this one. You're going to want some different sizes. So just worth bearing that in mind. We are getting that to you today for just £24 or $27. Now, I've also got for you the brand new fabric, which loads of people are loving. Lots of people loving this make as well. We have got for you your Liberty fabric. And just to let you know, because Liberty is about quality, but it's also about the name, it does say Liberty on it, so you know, people know. I mean, I think you can tell instantly because this is so Liberty in its look, but people can tell it's the real deal. I'm bringing to you all these different colours. I've got your gold. I've got this one here, which is your tangerine, which is really bright and fun. I've got for you, is it the magenta? Oh, damson, sorry, I put these in a funny order. Got your damson for you here, that wonderful purple colour. It's a really lovely, happy purple. Then I've got for you your magenta. I love those together. Pink and purple together make me smile. So we've got the magenta. I've also got a bright pink. So this one here is your bright pink, and the pink itself tonally a little bit more muted than the fuchsia, but as we said before, work lovely together. So this one here is your bright pink. I've then got the one we never forget. What's the name? Caterpillar. Yeah. So we've got the lovely caterpillar green, which is a very beautiful light green. In fact, before the show, myself and Becky were saying that neither of us generally are particularly green people, but this green is particularly nice. It's definitely one to get home and look at. I've got sapphire blue here for you. It's a really nice deep, it's like a Burmese blue, really, like a Burmese sapphire blue. Very deep, very intense, lovely. If you wanted to make something with this, great to pop on with your jeans. I've got your crimson for you now, which is that lovely bright red colour. And as we suggested earlier on, by Laurie, it'd go great with the evergreen if you're feeling festive, because the colours together very festive. The theme of the actual flowers kind of, all year round. So it's quite a nice twist on it. I like that idea. So there we go, we've got all of those for you. It's International Dog Day, which is why we've been looking at pictures of your pooches, and we're about to have a look at some more. Let's have a look at Sam. That face.
I know, you just want to go, woo, 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 woo.
Oh, I just want to squidge. Look, hello Sam, how are you? Oh, beautiful. Let's have a little look at the next one. Murphy, that is genius. I love that. Murphy looks like, yeah, what? I'm in the back of it. Yeah, top dog. I love that, Deb. Oh, Murphy is gorgeous. Let's have a look at our next one. This is Ziggy. Oh, Ziggy and a friend. Who is that cutie? But I love Ziggy. Ziggy looks like he's having a lovely yawn in that a little bit, doesn't he? Cute. Donna said that this is granddaughter Kingsley. Oh my gosh, I love the name Kingsley. That is beautiful. Donna, such a good picture. Thank you for that. Oh, Belle. Okay, so Bella, she is, if she were a person, she'd be a lady who lunches. Yeah. That's what I think.
Or like Barbara Cartland, like reclining on a chaise longue and having
yes! Love it. Bella, that's so cute. Hello to the next one. This is Evie. Oh, wow, Evie and a craft of Evie.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Now that is talent, isn't it? Oh, Linda, that is absolutely incredible. I love that. Thank you for sharing that one. We've got Ralph in with us next. Oh my goodness, Ralph is in clothes. Has Ralph got little booties on? He's got little boots on. He's ready to go out in the snow.
See, my dog would not walk with anything on his feet. He'd just be like that.
Yeah.
Just trying to get rid of it.
What is this? Ralph.
That's brilliant.
Ralph has got, he's got that type of nose that I want to just stroke. Really cute. Oh my goodness, Rosalind, I love Ralph. Hello to Molly Moo is next. Oh, Molly Moo. I feel like, Susie, like Molly Moo should have her own Instagram. She's already got the post down. That's gorgeous, Susie T, who's on our socials today. Thank you for that, Molly Moo. Also, we've got Buddy in, and Buddy's got a buddy as well. Wow, that is the type of dog that I would feel safe with.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That is such a lovely picture. Again, Donna, thank you so much. Buddy with his buddy. I love it. Oh, I could look at them all day, but apparently we've got a job to do. And we will look at more of those later, though. Can I just let you know, some of these fabrics, more popular colours, are relatively low in stock now, so if you want them, do grab them now. And whilst you're doing that, check out your baskets and watch this.
Quick Buy, all your crafty must-haves in a flash. Put away your tape measure and fabric scissors. The Threader's Fabric Cutter offers accuracy and precision with every cut. This handy tool slices through fabric in a guillotine style. Its ergonomic design features a comfortable and protective handle, so it's safe and easy to use whether you're right or left-handed. Its 45mm rotary blade will cut up to 6 layers of fabric at a time, so your sewing, quilting, and upholstery project times are cut down to size. It's equipped with a measuring guide in metric and imperial for a perfectly accurate cut every time. The built-in grid ruler has 30-degree, 45-degree, and 60-degree angle lines, so you can cut fabric on any angle, including the bias. Quick Buy, All your crafting must-haves in a flash.
We get to know people from places and walks of life that we wouldn't come across in our everyday life if it wasn't for Crafters TV and doing what we do.
I got so many lovely comments from people when I started doing the presenting, and it was just really such a lovely feeling. And it's nice that people keep messaging in. You know, we see the same people, and we know you can build up that kind of relationship with those people. So it's just the fact that people like what we do and they're pleased. And I do love it when people send us photographs of the items that they've made.
We talk about customers, but really they go in as a customer but come out as a friend. The support that I get is amazing. The messages I get are amazing.
Me personally, it is personal interaction. I've never had the best of health. I've always been open about that with our viewers at Crafters TV. So many people are in the same situation as me health-wise. Other people have got a completely different health issues. They understand and they relate to what I'm going through, what others are going through. So whether we interact on a crafting basis or whether we interact on a health basis, a personal basis, we're all there to support one another. It is incredible.
The reaction of viewers when they come to meet us is worth all of the early mornings when we have to get up for our early morning shows.
Some of the customers come on as craft ambassadors and things like that, craft along with us, and being able to actually chat with them on air. I love it. I really love that connection with them.
We've had lots of shows where we've done like craft alongs, especially where we've had viewers craft along with us. We had a particular viewer, Joy, who joined us once before, and she literally made me cry on air, and Joe, because the things she said about us, it really was quite humbling that there are people out there that watch us and invite us into their living rooms and really treat us like family.
Welcome back to Crafters TV. Lovely to be with you today. My name is Rebecca Redican. You can call me Becky though. Rebecca Redican, it's a bit formal. It's lovely to be with you. We have got so many goodies on our show. Let me tell you, I've got Becky S with me right now, Debbie R with me later on, and then Gwen is back with us from Creative Expression. So I've got so much on the show today, and I'm going to dive straight on in with some essentials for you now. Now, if you are new to the world of soft craft, aka sewing, fabric and everything that entails, this is a great collection to get because it is things of your essentials. We have got for you a rotary cutter. Basically what this is you have got a blade inside here, nicely safe and stored away, that you will press down onto your fabric and it will cut out smoothly. It's quicker than using scissors often, and also it doesn't give you any edging, so it's nice smooth movement. It's really, really useful. 60mm one on this. Then I've got for you our erasable fabric pens. Sometimes you'll need to draw around like a pattern basically on your fabric, and you need to use a pen for that, but you can't use any old pen because it'll go through and it'll stain your fabric, and then if you go slightly offline you're like, oh, I can see that bit of pen, and you wear that dress and then everyone goes, I love your dress, and all you're thinking is, yeah, but don't look near the label because you can see a bit of pen. You don't get that with these. You draw it on, you will use a little bit of heat and you'll draw it on and then it can be erased. Really simply, just like a pencil, but it is a pen, so it's a deeper colour. I have also got for you here a folding cutting mat. Now this folds out really big to literally twice the size of this, and it protects your work surfaces. And it's great, you can use many different elements within this, and you're getting the different sizes, if you will. So you can, if you've got a smaller work area and then you go to a larger one, you can just fold it out. Really useful for you today. The whole kit and caboodle is just £37 or $43. So do seize the moment on that 35% saving. Don't forget, if you love savings, I've got Debbie's double discount deals coming up for you later on. So that is a really good one as an essential. Let me also bring to you one that will make you smile if you want to get into making your own bags. I have got for you here your templates for your bag making. So you can make this bag here, and we'll show you it properly in person in a moment. You get everything in there you need to do that, to use over and over. Also, you can create this bag here. And again, everything you get in here, you're gonna need to make that over and over. If you do wanna make these, may I suggest that you get your hands on our fabric today. It's Liberty fabric that we've got. For this one here, you're gonna need, for sort of your main outer area, it's gonna be 1.5 meters worth of your fabric. And for this one here, which is sort of size, you can see again different variations of the amounts that you're going to need there, depends on which element and pattern you're doing. It's not just that though, I've got our hardware. So these elements here are going to help you add, for example, your details. They're going to help you add, for example, clips for your bags. They're going to help you use things like your handles, for example, as well. So there's absolutely loads in here for you to get your hands on. Today, great discount again. All of that's just £25 or $35. And remember, once you've got these, they are reusable. You can use them over and over and over again. So, you know, you can have a lot of fun with them. If you do want to grab the bags, they do make beautiful bags, don't they, Becky?
Yeah, I've got them here so you can see what they look like. In the flesh, they're not made out of flesh, but in the fabric.
But thanks.
And really, really useful because you've got all these little pockets in here. And the hardware is beautiful. So we've got these rose gold sort of swivel hooks and D-rings, and they really do elevate your makes. To making something really, really beautiful. So you've got little zip pockets in here. You've got little feet, bag feet in here as well. So you can really make this look spectacular and obviously sort of finish it off the way a bag would do. So this is a smaller one. And then this one is, what did I say? It was a 6-month-old baby we could fit in here, I reckon.
Yeah.
That's my unit of measurement.
Is it?
It's a massive bag.
Yeah.
And potatoes.
If it were for a dog, because it is International Dog Day,
Yes.
what breed of dog would you be able to get in there up to?
Well, puppies, loads. I mean, French Bulldogs, I reckon we could fit 6 French Bulldog puppies in there.
Right, okay,
I think we could fit my dog, who's a Staffordshire Terrier cross. He would just about fit in there. He would hate it, but he would just about fit in here.
Just to give you an idea of the size,
I think your dog wouldn't fit.
No. Golden Retriever, too
I've definitely seen on sort of photos on the New York subway system.
Yeah.
You can take any dog on the subway system, provided it fits into a bag. And so there's lots of pictures of people with their dog with like an IKEA bag where it's just holes so their feet are sticking out. And they're carrying it with the dog, yeah. So you can fit, I mean, this is probably, you know, not far off that kind of length of one of those big blue bags you get. But this bag is fantastic. Loads and loads of pockets. Great for sort of weekend bag, or perhaps, you know, this is a bit big for a changing bag, but if you're going away for a long period of time, this would be really great. And of course, you've got all this hardware, which is really, really strong. And the hardware is what I'm going to be using for my next demo. So in the pack, you get 2 swivel hooks and you also get 6 D-rings. And I thought, well, what if you've bought some of the hardware before and you've made your bag and you've still got some of the hardware left? Perhaps you want to make something for your dog.
Yes, please.
That's what I thought. So what I thought we would do is make a dog bandana and a dog lead.
Yes.
Because that's what you need to do on International Dog Day.
Yeah.
So the first thing I'm going to do is make the dog bandana, and I've created a little template here just out of a piece of card. So it's 5.5 inches across, 11 inches down, and then you've got a point from the 5-inch mark here. I'm creating that point here, and we're going to put that on a fold. So I've already got a piece of the tangerine fabric. I've given it an iron. I've just folded it in half, and I'm going to place that just here. And then I'm going to use my heat erasable pen, and I'm going to just draw around this little template that I've got here. So I'm just going to do a couple little marks here. I'm not going to draw the whole line. I'm just going to do a few part the way through, and then I'm going to do them on my corners as well, like so. I had a great time this week working out what dog things I could do.
Yeah, I
it
love
was-
that. We've had a message in from Susie.
Yeah.
saying, Becky, I'm a huge Star Wars nerd.
Oh, really?
I need to know what you worked on for Return of the Jedi.
Okay, so I made Ewok bags. I worked on those. So when I say
Sorry, what is an Ewok bag?
You're not a Star Wars.
No, I am, and I know what an Ewok is. I don't understand the bag
They
section.
had little bags. So if you watch it, they had little bags that were made out of. I thought that's what she was going to say. What's an Ewok? I was thinking, my God, Becky's not the girl I thought she was.
No, I'm well aware of what an Ewok is.
They had these little bags made out of. They're made out of fur, and I made some of those. I was a child, and they had to look quite. They had to look like they were made by little sort of furry animals that lived in a farm or forest. So I made those. What else did I do? I helped stick on stuff they had. I don't even remember seeing them actually in the film, but they had almost like a. Like wings, the Ewoks made out of. Do you remember those like paragliding kind of?
Yeah,
Ewoks?
I know exactly what you mean.
I stuck some bits on those, like there were bits of leaves and things. But I was just a child when that was happening.
Wow.
So I can't remember what year Return of the Jedi was.
I'm not sure which with you.
86, something like that, maybe.
So sort of 36 years ago.
Yeah. So I was only a kid. 83. So I would have been 8.
Wow.
At the time. So,
wow.
But yeah, it was quite exciting, and it was exciting watching it afterwards and seeing the bits and pieces that you worked on. I mean, I imagine my parents would say, "Oh yeah, it made your item made it onto the show," and actually secretly they just shoved it in the bin. But I like to think I still want to think that I was instrumental in what the Ewoks wore. Ewok fashion that year.
Yeah.
Instrumental.
That's
so
incredible.
all I've done here, I've just used my rotary cutter and I've just used my ruler and I've just cut around the edge here. Can we make an Ewok bag?
On
Possibly.
the next show, yeah,
we can give it a whirl.
Yeah.
I'll have a think about it, see if I can work out what to do. So I've cut this. So this is going to make my little bandana for my dog. Now I was going to bring my dog in today, but we live quite a long way away. And I wasn't too sure what I was going to do with him for the whole weekend while I'm up here. And I thought, I'll borrow one of the kids' toys. I'm sure we've got like a dog toy somewhere, but I didn't bring it, which is really stupid of me. So we're just going to have to imagine what it's going to look like whilst it's on. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fold around the edge about 1/4 of an inch, and I'm going to fold over again as well. And I'm going to do that all the way around the edge, including to this point. And then I'm going to iron it and I'm going to stitch it. So this is one I did earlier. Yeah. So you can see how I finished that all around.
I see, yeah.
Now, what I did when I was working out my dimensions for this bandana, what I did is I took a dog collar and I just worked out roughly sort of twice the width and a little bit extra. Because what we're going to do is we're actually going to fold this over. So we're going to stitch it the other way around. You stitch it around this. We're going to use this actual collar to go around the bandana because there was no point making an actual collar is quite tricky because obviously you've got all these little bits here and you want your dog to be nice and secure. So I wanted to make sure that this is something you could do with any existing collar that you have for your dog.
Great.
So what we're going to do now is I'm just going to fold these two pieces over like so. So it's going to finish like that. And I'm going to stitch along here. So I'm just going to give that a pin and then stitch around that edge to finish it off. And then I can thread that collar through. And then we're going to make the dog lead. So your dog is going to be the best pampered pooch around, isn't it?
Yeah, oh my goodness, yeah.
There is next month where I live, we have a dog show. It's not crafts, but just like a local dog show. And I might even dress my dog up in all his Liberty print
I
stuff.
think you should.
I think I should.
You'll definitely win best dress.
Do you reckon?
For sure.
I don't know. People go a little bit out there with their dressed pooches. There was a dog that I saw one year. I can't think what it's called, but it was one of those dogs that's got a really crinkled face.
Right.
And she had a pink fur coat on, not even her own fur, but like an actual coat, with a big pair of pink sunglasses.
Okay, wow.
So
that's pretty extra.
It is.
Yeah, but it's not Liberty print, Becky.
No, it's not.
It's not.
You can't go wrong with a bit of Liberty print, can you? Right, so I've just stitched and around there. So then, when I just trim these bits of thread off, what we will do is thread this through here.
Oh, Susie on social says you're the same age as her, Becky.
Oh,
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Good to know, isn't it?
it is good to know.
Lots of people absolutely loving this, by the way. Mary Pat is saying, very clever, Becky, this make. And we've got Lynn who was in talking about the cushion cover saying, that's a fabulous cushion cover, Becky. I love it. Laurie's saying, so cute. Rosalind's saying, that's adorable, Becky. There's lots of love coming through for
Oh,
you. These
good.
are fab makes, aren't they? We have
So
got more dog
we've
makes.
made that little, I mean, I'd put it on if I wouldn't look really weird, but you've got this little bandana. It's a shame we've not got Willow here anymore. We could try it on Willow. So you've got this little bandana. Now the next thing that we're going to do is your lead. And for this is where we're going to be using our hardware. Now, on our collar, obviously we've already got a D-ring already here, but if you're going to make the collar from scratch, you could use one of these D-rings that we've got. I've got a slightly different colour to the one that we've got on the show, but we would use that D-ring here. So if you're going to make a collar for the dog, I'd make it in the same sort of way as I'm making the lead, but I would just be aware that you want to make sure that you've got a really good clasp to clasp everything together. So if you had an old clasp, perhaps your old lead was looking a little bit grotty, you could always sort of cut everything off and then use this sort of upcycle your dog collar. So what I've done here is I've cut a piece of fabric. So this is the sapphire fabric that we had on the show. All I did was cut the width of this. So I didn't think it made too much difference as to how long your lead was. And then I've cut, just see how wide that is. I think it was 4 inches. And so I've folded the middle point, and then I folded over to hide those raw edges, and I folded over again. And at the end of one of these, I've just folded that over again, sort of touching those raw edges. And so it just needs stitching all the way along the outside. So we stitch all the way down here and all the way down here to finish that off. But I've done one already.
Brilliant.
So you can see how that looks. Now, this is just fabric. If you had a strong dog or a big dog, this is just something that, you know, it's more fashion than, you know, sort of...
an everyday sort of...
If you wanted something really strong, you'd want to put some cotton webbing in here, which is the kind of stuff, you know, this is like a nylon webbing, but you get cotton webbing, which is the same kind of thing, like thick, kind of strong tape. You could work out how wide that piece was, and then basically use your fabric to encapsulate your webbing. Now, if you're going to be doing that, you would need to change your needle to a leather needle, a stronger needle, because it's going to be going through really, really stiff layers of fabric. But that will make that thicker and stronger, because this is just effectively 4 lengths or 4 widths of cotton. So it's not going to be as super strong as you perhaps would want it to be. So what we would do, we're just going to finish off, so we just stitched all the way around the outside, and then we folded over this loop here, and I stitched across. So what I did, I stitched a little square, and then I stitched a diamond in the middle of the square just to secure it all. But again, you know, if you're going to be doing this with a thicker cotton tape inside, you won't want to go over it again. You may even want to change to a thick thread on your sewing machine. But then this last piece here, this is the piece we're going to be using this swivel hook for. So that's going to be the bit that clips into that D-ring on the dog's lead. And so I just want to make sure I get it round the right way. I'm just going to pop it like this through here, and then fold it over. And then I'm just going to stitch along here, again in that little square, and then across here. And that's going to finish off that little piece of the lead for me.
Lovely. Rosalind says, I take my old comforters and make dog beds out of them. That's a really good idea. I like that we're talking about this kind of recycling stuff we mentioned earlier, but that's a really good idea. What a great way to do it. Really useful. We have also got in Lynn, who says, my husband is a huge fan of Star Wars, especially the originals. Now, from the letters alone, can you name these Star Wars films? ROTJ.
Return of the Jedi.
Correct. ANH. I couldn't work that one out, I couldn't.
ANH.
ANH. No, I couldn't work
A
that
New
one
Hope.
out.
A New Hope.
Oh,
Yeah.
A New Hope, of course.
Yeah.
And then ESB.
Empire Strikes Back.
Of course it is. Classic.
Which is often people's favourite.
Which, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a classic. It's a classic one. Which, do you have a Liam?
Liam hasn't seen
Liam's
it.
not seen Star Wars. That's
What?
very unusual.
That's terrible.
And his birthday. Your birthday's
May the
May
4th.
4th.
Oh,
He's never watched him.
that's terrible.
Well,
I can't believe
never.
that. Shocking, Liam. Well, we all know what we'll be getting Liam for his next birthday. Box
I know,
set
yeah.
of
box set.
Star Wars.
Should we buy
whether
him
it was
one
or not.
each? I'm not made of money. We'll buy him one
Yeah,
each.
right, there we go. So I've stitched that little square here, so that's holding that together. So now with that little swivel hook here, we then attach it to that piece here, and then you've got a little lead with a little with a little loop here, and your dog's little collar with his bandana. So it's a shame I haven't got a dog. If I find one outside, I'll bring it in. But you can see how that's all finished off. Oh my God, Liam's come in with a lightsaber. That's
Liam's
quite
got,
frightening.
well, it's not a lightsaber so much as it is. How would you
A broom.
describe that? A broom. A broom. A broom. He's just come in and gone.
But at least he knows what to do. You know, might not have watched them, but he still knows what to do with a lightsaber.
Yeah, that's the power of Star Wars.
So you've got a good way of using up any extra D-rings, swivel hooks that you happen to have. You can make a lovely little bandana and a lead. If anybody wants the actual measurements, do sort of pop the information in on one of our comments, and I will pop something up there later on tonight, so you can make your own bandana for your dog.
That is so cute. I just love it. We've got more to come, but let me remind you, this is the hardware from that is from the bag making, which Becky Sworn has said if you did want to make this bag, what was it? Six puppies you'd be able to get in? 6 puppies,
No problem.
3 fully grown chihuahuas. So we've got all those, but we've also got the hardware that includes your D-rings. I've also got in here for you your swivel hooks as well. And let me just show you, I got out, you get 2 of the handmade signs, if you will, that literally just pop through. But I wanted to show you that, just to give you an idea of its size. You literally just put it through the fabric and then you fold those over. So that's a really easy one, but you get 2 of those. And I think that's just a real elegant finish, really, isn't it? And you also get your feet as well. So I have got for you that available. Sylvie has said, I'm sorry, what planet is Liam from? I know, never seen the Star. To be totally honest though, I only watched Star Wars for the first time about a year ago. So
Really?
to be fair, I do get it. Let me talk to, don't forget to keep your dog pictures coming through, please, because I'm definitely going to squeeze another set of them in before Softer Side. By the way, Sandra has said she sent in a message that Becky will appreciate, and I'm just really excited to see what it is. So we'll load that up as well, Sandra.
Which Becky?
You, Becky.
Me, Becky.
Yeah. You, Becky. So, let me tell you, I have got some of Leanne's surprise goodie bags left over from last night. These are epic. I'm going to start with my everyday one. This is, as I've said, my favourite of the surprise bags of all time. If you don't like to see what's inside these, as always, close your eyes for a moment. And then I'll tell you when to open them. There's absolutely loads in here. So I've got some consumables. I've got elements like this, which, this won't give it away too much, but just to give you an idea, the sound factor. I mean, that alone is absolutely crammed full. I've also got for you some things that I know are your absolute favourites, lots of lovely different designs. As well as that, I'm bringing to you things that you can use time after time, day after day, year after year, week after week. I also nearly started singing Time After Time. What an absolute tune. If you fall, I will catch you. I'll be waiting. Oh, it's just amazing. Oh, get a tattoo. I've also got for you elements within here, which quite frankly, no one can get their hands on for love nor money. But you're getting it in this today. So we've got, I've got another.
Can I just point out that that is something that I would like and I don't have. Do you have one of those?
No,
I don't
not.
think any of us have one of those.
No. Apparently, Debbie nicked one. One was on show,
right,
as in this, and she nicked it. And then apparently she left it here, and someone messaged in earlier saying that Leanne saw it the other day and had her eye on it. So we don't know where that's gone. But even if even Leanne's nabbing one, that is exclusive. So yes, do feel free to treat yourself to that bag. I'll whip that out shot again, and you can open your eyes again, but only for a moment. Just nice to acclimatise, because I've got another bag for you. This has got a festive feel to it, and this one again, absolutely jam-packed full of goodies. So close your eyes if you want the surprise. I am bringing to you some cracking opportunities. We've got a few things that you will use up, but we have got things that will last. We've got absolute essentials. You know, this is an essential, isn't it, whenever we're talking about that. And then you also get elements in here that you're just going to be able to use all of the time. You're going to be able to use these for that festive feeling. Some of them, although that in itself is festive, depending on your colours and the accessories you use, it doesn't really have to be. I'm thinking of the likes of, you know, Venetian baubles that you get all year round. So yeah, I've got lots of different elements in here. I am still going because there's just oodles in this one. Again though, as with the other, it's only £35. So there's 11 elements within here for £35. So it's, well, it's around £3 an item really, isn't it?
Crazy.
Which is astonishing. I would seize the moment on those because we have got very, very, very limited stock. Open your eyes again. There you are. So do seize the moment on that one. We have got many things that are low in stock, including our brand new Liberty fabric. So I want to give you a moment to check out your baskets, because then you can just sit and chill and enjoy more demos and more dog chat. Whilst you do that, let's get to know a lady a little bit more. Her name is Michelle.
My name's Michelle and I am the newest craft expert. My crafting journey began just after I had my daughter Alice, so she's 14 now. Long story short, I suffered with postnatal depression. My husband sort of noticed, took me to the doctors, and of all things, the doctor suggested colouring. Said it's so mindful, really helps. So anyway, my husband had noticed that I discovered the craft channels. Went out one day, came home with an amazing little craft kit for me, and that is where my addiction began. But one of my main inspirations is actually going onto our pages on Facebook, Instagram, and seeing what everyone else is making with the same stuff that we're making. As cheesy as it's going to sound, Debbie Robinson, Debbie Fisher, those are two of the main people that I watched a lot of. They are all so inspirational. Okay, so I absolutely love everyone that I work with. I don't have a lot of juicy gossip that I can share, but I will say Debbie Robinson is exactly what you see on screen. She is a laugh a minute. She is exactly what you see. So, you know, you think, oh, did they put it on for the camera? They don't. Debbie Robinson is definitely Debbie Robinson, and I love her. And she really does say all the time, what am I like? So other than crafting, I just love being at home with my family. I know that sounds cheesy, but my husband is the most amazing support for me. My kids are fantastically weird, odd, crazy, but perfect. But at the minute, I'm very focused on my health, so I'm exercising a lot. So I would say, other than craft, which takes up 23.5 hours a day, that my health and lifestyle, I think you would say. So I've had a few cards published in a couple of magazines as designer for the day. So that was sort of really big deal for me. I loved it. And then I got accepted onto the Crafters Companion design team. Oh my God, the whole world could hear me scream with excitement. And then I got the call to come up and try out for this job. It is by far the most amazing, exciting thing I have ever done, and it's been life-changing.
Welcome back. Wasn't that a nice little get to know a lovely Michelle? It's lovely to be with you on this, our International Dog Day. I hope you're having a good one and you're not feeling rough. We have got for you so many treats and goodies on the show. We have already been looking at how to make bandanas and dog leads and dog cushions, and we have got more treats to show you. Let me start off by talking you through the rotating quilting pattern guides. We have got here for you. To be honest, when I first saw these, I thought, I have no idea how they create, because I saw the patterns that they can create. I have no idea how I would be able to recreate something like that, how it would be possible, or even how the tool itself works. But actually, once you get it and you see it done once, it's very intuitive, isn't it?
Yeah. It's just a question of you need to use a free motion machine embroidery foot. I don't know why I'm doing this with my hand, because this is not a free motion machine embroidery foot, but it's round. And basically that sits on your fabric in between with the edge of that quilting pattern guide to the edge of it, and it just moves around. And you can get some amazing designs that you would never have been able to do with your normal sewing machine without having that guide. I mean, you've got loads there, haven't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll show you actually the kind of designs you can make. So if you, just to show you around it, you've got the sort of designs here that you can create. But if I flip it over, it maybe gives you a sort of more detailed design of just one element of it. So you can use these kind of individually, singularly, or you can really go to town with it. Again, lots of different designs here. I'm going to be bringing to you 4 in total. But of course, it's kind of like a 2-in-1 design. So there is still plenty that you can do with these on top of it. I mean, check out this one. That one gets really intricate. It's not a million miles away in a way to how like your old school spirograph kind of would work in a way.
Yeah, that's a really good analogy actually. Yeah, that's exactly how it is.
Oh, thanks. We've got for you the rotating quilting pattern guide. You're getting 4 of these. They're $17.99. Just take a moment to appreciate that discount we've given you. You're saving nearly £54. You're saving nearly $75. Now is your time to give them a go. Maybe you've you've thought, oh, should I give them a try? At that price point, give them a try. Just try one. If you don't like it, the others you can sell on, can't you? And you'd make your money back in one. So, well worth giving it a go. Just seize the moment, because it does give you a lovely detail and design. Now, I've got some templates for you, and these templates I think are perfect if you are planning on starting out into your world of sewing, because with these you don't need extras like your die cutting machine. You can sit and craft and make something really beautifully, really cleanly. I've got 3 different designs here for you, which I'll quickly show you through, and then we can look at the actual finished products themselves. So I've got 3 different designs. They come with your templates. All you're really going to need is your fabric for your outside, your inside, some wadding maybe for some of these, and then, you know, your essentials, your sewing essentials. And they look great on the packet, but in real life they look better.
They do, in the flesh.
In the
fabric.
Yeah, I wish you stopped saying that.
Sorry. I know, it's a bit weird, isn't it? Whole different range of sewing organisers. So this one, in fact, I made this into like a picnic carrier, picnic thing a little while ago for the Jubilee. Really handy, and like you say, it's easy to get started. You don't need a Gemini because these are all templates, so they're all sort of plastic templates. They're reusable, but you can see how you can create this really quite cool little sort of sewing organiser here. So that's your first one. The next one is this workstation organiser, which is brilliant if you don't have a lot of space and you need to pack away all of your craft crafty pieces. You can create this and then put all of your bits and pieces inside. So you've got a little pin cushion here. You've got placed down here with these corners where you can put your cutting mat, or if you've got a sort of some card that you want to keep nice and sort of tidy. You can pop all your tools in here, your pens, your scissors can pop in here as well. You pop your pens down here and they will hook onto that little edge. So you've got lots of different options on that one as well. So again, you're making this has been, it's got quite a lot of interfacing in it. It's quite sort of solid, but you can make it sort of as floppy or as sort of sort of movable as you possibly want. And then the last one is this organiser here, which is like a sort of travel organiser, like a roll-up organiser. But again, you could use this for, you could adapt this, make this into like a manicure set. You could use this for sort of travel jewellery. You've got a little pin cushion over here, but you can use that for other bits and pieces. And I'm going to adapt it because I'm going to make it into a grooming set for a dog.
Yay!
As you do. I'm so excited. Right, so I'll show you what you're going to be getting in the template. So this is what your template will look like. It will say on the back what the amounts of fabric that you need and any other pieces of haberdashery that you may need. And then when you open up your package, you will see you've got these two different templates. I can't quite pick this up with my silly nails. So you've got this part here which forms the main body of the sewing organiser, and then you've got this curved piece. So you have two curved pieces, one on one side and one on the other. And then you've got these scissor pockets that you can make, your pin cushion, your zipper fronts, zipper backs. You've got all those different aspects in there. So you're going to adapt those slightly depending on what you need. And as you go through your little booklet, you will see it tells you how to cut everything out. So for example here, side panels and pocket, it shows you which piece of the template you need to use, and that's highlighted in red. Now under here it tells you about your cutting preparation, and it talks about how many of everything you need to cut and what you need to cut them out of. So for these ones we do recommend that you cut pieces out of wadding. So if you've never used wadding before, wadding is the kind of, or batting, is the kind of fluffy stuff that you put in between a quilt or in between a bag. So if you look here, this is one I did earlier. This is like a standard cotton wadding. It's 20% or 2080, so it's polyester cotton that I'm using here. So this just gives a bit of structure to the item that you're making. It also talks about using interfacing, and I have used interfacing here. Again, this is much lighter, much thinner, but this again gives a bit of structure. Now you attach always your wadding when you're making a bag to your outer fabric, or your batting to your outer fabric, and you attach your interfacing to your lining fabric. That's how it works. You can buy all sorts of different types. You can buy ones that are heat fusible. This one in particular, this interfacing, is heat fusible. It's just got a couple of little sort of almost sort of bumps on it, and when you iron it, that's where the glue is. Or you can use some of our spray. So for this wadding, this didn't have any adhesive on it. I just used some of our spray. So I used our Stick and Stay, which is our permanent adhesive. But if you just want to, you're not worried about it being permanent, you can use a repositional one, which is a Stick and Spray. So that's the blue one here. So you can use either of those. But the permanent one is the one that I've used. And all the way through here, it shows you step-by-step instructions as to how to put everything together. So you'll see all that information about how to create these little pockets, create these zipper pouches, all that sort of thing, and put it all together step by step. So let's get started. So as you can see, I have already cut I've cut out my outer pieces. So again, I'm using, this is the yellow ochre fabric that we have on the show today. So I cut out my pieces, my two side panels, the circular pieces, semicircular pieces, and my main panel here. And I did my wadding onto them, and then I sewed them together. So I've just sewn all those pieces together, and that's to make the outside, so you can see how that looks. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my green fabric. So this is a caterpillar, and I'm going to cut two of the scissor templates out.
Okay, great.
So I've got my fabric here, And I'm just going to, I'll do the small one, I think. I'm just going to fold that over. And then I put my scissor pocket here, so you can just see where that is there. I'm using my heat erasable pen, and I'm just going to draw through those little gaps in my template. And this is what you will do with all of those templates. So the template we had earlier on with the Cambridge bag and the Salisbury satchel, and this would be exactly the same kind of templates that you would have for those. Now what I'm going to do is I've just got those two pieces of fabric together. I'm just going to pin them together like so, and then I'll use my scissors and cut around. You could use your rotary cutter if you preferred to. I'm just going to use my scissors for the moment and cut around here.
Gorgeous.
And then we're going to, sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I was going to say then we're going to do the same with the larger scissor pocket as well.
Don't forget that if you've got any questions for Becky, she is with us for some more time, so do feel free to message those in. Also, because it is International Dog Day, do feel free to let us know your dog-related stories. We are asking you to send in your pictures. We'll show more of them later. Dog-related stories. That one, maybe, you know, your pooch has been particularly mischievous on one occasion. Do feel free to message us in, let us know. Also, I'd like to know your favourite breed of dog, actually, because I think the breed of dog says quite a lot about the person.
Do you think?
Yeah, I do.
Do you think the owners are like their dogs? Well,
yes.
That's what we should have asked for, photos of the dog with the owner.
With the owner.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can still do that.
Yeah.
I do think, I don't necessarily, well, I think that dogs and owners are always alike when it comes to personality.
Do you think?
Well, not always, but nearly. Yeah. Like, I'm very like my dog in personality.
In what way? So what is your dog's personality?
So my dog is 10 years old and she acts like she's about 4, and that's me as well. She's got a lot of energy, which is, if you haven't noticed, me as well. And also she's very, very cuddly. She's very affectionate, which is completely me also. Ah. In fact, when she was a puppy, I remember picking her up like all of the time, and my uncle said to me, if you keep doing that, she's going to become very needy. And I was like, that is my intention. Thank you, uncle. That is exactly what I want. She loves cuddles. Do you think you and Charlie are alike in personality?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not entirely. He's really stupid, so I mean, I can't really say that. I don't want to say that I've got the same personality as my dog, because he really is completely daft. He's terribly lazy, so maybe that's the thing. I'm quite lazy as well, and I like nothing better than falling asleep on the sofa, like the dog does. But so, yeah, so maybe it's true.
Yeah,
maybe. It's true.
Yeah.
Although he does do this silly thing where he goes out in the garden, and he rolls on his back, and then he just stops with his tongue hanging out, his teeth there, just on his back, and you think, is the dog dead?
Like, he just like pauses completely.
Yeah, that's it. Just like, I've run out of battery, and then suddenly he gets up again. Very strange.
That's so funny.
Peculiar animals.
I love that.
I've just stitched around this. I've had right sides together. So this is a little pocket for the scissors. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trim around the edge where I've got a curve. Now, you can cut into this. So what we're doing is we're trying to minimise the bulk around these curves. And you can do that by just cutting like this, or you can just trim around that edge if you want to. I haven't stitched all the way around. I've left a little gap so I can turn my scissor pocket out. So I've just stitched around here. If I open that out here, like that, you can see how that's going to look. And then you would go round the outside of this and top stitch it until it's all looking nice and neat before you attach it to the rest of your dog grooming bag. So I'm just going to move my fingers through on that seam, and then what we will do is I will roll those seams with my fingers, between my finger and my thumb, and then that sort of pushes out the stitching, makes the seam nice and flat. And then we've got this little piece here, so that's where we would just tuck that in, we give it a press, and we top stitch around the outside here. Once we've done that, we're then going to fold this little pocket over, and we're going to put a little button here, and then we're going to pop that onto the lining piece of our fabric and then stitch it together. We're just going to stitch around here, so that creates a little pocket there.
Lovely. Loads of you getting in touch with your puppy stories, etc. Rosalind saying, Becky, you've given me so many ideas today. I have way too much fabric. Rosalind, I agree. These are really good ideas. And, you know, as you're doing this, you know, I've always looked at that as a bag to carry your crafting thing. But no, dog grooming or gardening, because the little pouch you could put like your sexiturs in. Sorry, just to clarify, what I meant to say was, I don't now, secateurs for gardening. Get your mind out the gutter. Although, there could be a market for it, my idea. So yeah. Anyway, I'm going to move on very quickly. Sarah's messaged in saying that you sent some pictures of your dogs. Yay! Thank you. Pamela has said, I've sent a photo in of my M&Ms, Mia and Milo. And Milo is aka Red Tornado, totally appropriate as he is speedy and can jump straight up at least 5 feet into the air from the standing position. Blimey, Maya is camera shy but a sweetheart. Oh, Pam, we'll have a look at those in a little bit. That's really cool, that, isn't it?
I love the idea that you've called your dogs M&Ms. I think that's hilarious.
That's clever, isn't it? Mia and Milo.
Just here, I'd forgotten I hadn't done this part. What I've done is I've cut another piece of this curved organiser out of contrasting fabric. I'm just going to trim that down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this as a little pocket on the other side of my sewing organiser. Because I decided that I didn't want the little zip parts of the organiser, and obviously didn't need the pin cushion, but what I might need is a little place to put maybe some tweezers or something like that for the dog. So what I'm going to do is folding that over, make sure I've got it around the right way, folding that over. I'm going to top stitch that first of all, and I'm going to use that to make a little pocket just here. Have you ever had any other pets, Becky?
Oh yeah, I've had loads of pets, loads. Yeah, I've had quite a few dogs. I've had. You're right, Becky. Yeah.
I just got a bit of a runny nose. Hold on a minute.
Oh, lovely. Thank you for sharing that. Thanks for sharing that, Becky.
A bit of a cold there.
Appreciate it.
What was your?
I've had finch. So I've had birds. I've had budgies. I've had a house rabbit. Yeah.
Did your budgie ever play football?
No.
I remember watching that on like Blue Peter, where they had budgies playing football with little.
I missed that episode. Jamie's just gone. What did they play for the Canaries?
That's terrible.
Classic.
I just thought that they just played like little ping pong balls.
Oh right.
I used to remember going to friends' houses and they'd have those. So I thought they were quite cool. But I've always liked the idea of having birds at home.
Yeah. I do like birds. I think I'd like to have an aviary. It'd be amazing.
Oh,
my garden's the size of a postage stamp. It's impossible, but I do like that idea.
I think that's a lovely idea.
Have you always had dogs since you were little?
I had a dog when I was a child growing up, and so did my husband. So we always sort of said, our sort of thing was we were going to have kids, then we were going to have a dog. We had a couple of cats in between. I would quite like I'd like a peacock, obviously.
Yes, of course, yeah.
And actually do. And I'd like to have another cat, but we haven't. We're not at home. Well, yeah, I don't know. Maybe one day.
Yeah.
I'm just going to draw some lines on here. So I want to stitch down here to create a little pocket. So I'm just going to use my heat erasable pens to draw that line down here. So I've just pinned that on top of my other panel of my my bag. So to stitch down here. I would really like to have a little pig as a pet. I was saying about people sort of taking their pigs for a walk.
Oh yeah,
like
little
a pig.
Oinker. Oh. Oh, so cute. I would love that. That'd be really nice little piglet.
Spider pig. No, I don't want a spider pig.
No, I don't want a spider pig.
No, I don't like spiders.
I'm not a fan.
I don't mind a snake could be all right, but I
Yeah.
don't think I'd want a spider pet.
When I'd rather a snake than a spider for sure. I'm all right with snakes. Although there was one occasion where I wasn't all right with a snake, which is when I was in America walking through Yosemite, and my friend and I heard a rattle, and she grabbed me and pushed me in the direction of said rattling noise because she is very scared of snakes. But that made me question our 15-year-long relationship.
Are you still
It was
friends now?
literally a rattle. She grabs me and pushes me towards it.
That doesn't sound very fair, does it?
I know, right?
So here we have our middle panel. So these are our little scissor pockets. So you can see that, I mean, obviously, in a dog grooming
perfect.
bag, you wouldn't have such big scissors as those, but you've got space for your scissors. I don't know whether you might need a pen, but you know, you can fit all sorts of different things. Your little tiny snips in there, tweezers. Yeah, I don't know.
In your dog group? Oh yeah, maybe to write down a receipt.
Yes,
for
there you go.
example.
Yeah.
Or you could put toenail clippers in there. Dog nail clippers.
Oh, okay, yeah, clippers, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying putting dog toe clippings in there, and I was thinking, why?
No, but if I were to say that, it's not the weirdest thing I've said on the show today. I think that's safe to say.
I think you're probably right. Now we're just going to pin these pieces together and then sew them. We're going to do the same with the other side. And then we've created the inside of our dog grooming bag. I love the fact that everyone's just accepted I've made a dog grooming bag because it's one of those well-known items that we all need.
No, but it is handy though, you know, like if you're going away, if you're going camping or whatever, it's a good one to
And some dogs need to be groomed every day.
all the time,
Don't
yeah.
they? You know,
like-
if you've got those special kind of combs for all those mats.
Yeah.
You know, you might need tweezers. You know, your dog might be susceptible for, you know, getting sort of caught up with all sorts of bugs and stuff.
Toothbrush.
Toothbrush, yes. Yeah,
Because
good idea.
again, if you're going away, brushing your dog's teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. So we're just going to do one side and then we'll do this other side in exactly the same way. Like so. And just stitch along here. But I think my dog is going to be the best dressed with his dog grooming kit, all in this Liberty print fabric.
Of course. Yeah, Liberty fabric. Oh, I mean, really. Bit of the envy of all of the other pooches in the pound.
Exactly. You know, he's going to be down at the local park, showing off his Liberty print stuff, and they'll be like,
Oh.
you don't look quite as mean and tough as you used to, Charlie. Right, so we now have, I've done these little strips. So these are the strips to tie everything together. I've already finished off one edge. So again, like the sort of lead we were doing, I folded the piece of fabric in half, and then I folded each of those raw edges to that centre point and then folded it over so it's nice and tidy, and I've also finished in that end. But what I want to do is I want to attach it just here. I'm going to do that with both of these in this point here. So I'm just going to attach them. I think I'll do them, maybe I should do one on one side, one on the other. So I'm just going to pin those for the moment. Just here. So when I sew everything together and turn it round the right way, it will all be contained inside. So I'm going to tuck those into there for the moment, so out the way, and I'll do that the same with this one here. So just pin it away from the edge, and I'm just going to tuck that away inside. And then I'm going to take my outer piece of my bag. So this is the bit that I've made before, so with my yellow ochre, and I'm going to put this all right sides together, and then I'm going to stitch all the way around the outside, but I'm going to leave this bit here open. I'm going to turn everything through afterwards. Perfect. And then that should be right, shouldn't it? Hold on, let me just check. My head right, is that going to be right? Hold on, I'm just trying to make sure I got these straps around the right way. Otherwise they're not going to be, no, these straps need to be here. Get it right, Becky. Get it right.
Come on, Becky.
Otherwise, you know, it's going to go horribly wrong, isn't it?
No, I don't think it is. I think that is
Is that right?
Because that's the right side, isn't it? So when you fold it out,
Yeah, okay.
because otherwise they'll be on the inside.
Hold on. No,
Wait, no, is that the right way? Now I think about
Hold
it.
on a minute. I'm going to have to look at the little instructions because
See,
now I
that's
don't
what the
I don't believe I'm doing it
instruction
round the right way. Put them
this
onto
is
one
why the
side
instruction
panel
book-
and baste them in securely. So yeah, it is right what we're doing.
Yeah.
But if it goes horribly wrong, I'll find someone else to blame.
Yeah, no problem at
So
all.
what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to stitch a couple of stitches here just to make sure it's in the right place before I sew everything together.
If you have just tuned in, we are making a dog grooming carry pouch for International Dog Day. We will be looking at some more of your dog pictures shortly, and don't forget to get in touch with us. If you have a dog, are they similar to you in looks or personality? And if so, how? Do feel free to let us know. We've worked out that I am basically the exact same person as my dog, apart from she's blonde. Whereas Becky is more intelligent than hers. It was
We
the
hope.
gist.
We hope. Although I can't seem to work out which way round I'm doing this, so maybe I'm not as intelligent as my dog.
Oh, you've jinxed it now,
I
haven't you?
know. I'm not believing in myself. I'm sewing them on this side. And I just think that's going to be the right way to do it. 'cause then it's gonna
Okay,
be-
right, okay.
Isn't it?
I'm saying absolutely
I'm
nothing.
relying on you to
Well,
tell me what's right.
Well, no, I feel like that's completely wrong. The amount of times I have sewn, in fact, I did it quite recently. You know, our bag cutting dies that make the little backpack.
Yeah.
I was making one of those, and somehow I ended up putting what was it? Was it the straps? Yes, I think it was. When I turned it all inside out, the straps were inside, inside the bag.
It's easy to do because you've got to try and it's something that you do a lot when you're first sewing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you can't quite get your head around what you're trying to
Which way?
work out.
Yeah, so true.
It happens. We've all done it.
Yeah.
Right. Let's get this right. So, I'm just going to put this round the right way, or put these right sides together, and then stitch around the outside, and hopefully this will all work. And if it doesn't, I will cry. And
You
if it
won't
does-
though, will you?
No, I won't.
No.
No, because it's only a dog grooming bag,
Yeah.
and it doesn't matter because we can always unpick it and start it again.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world.
No.
So we just go around the edge here and sew it. So use probably, you might even want to use 1/2 inch or just over 1/4 inch seam allowance, so you can just make sure you capture all those sort of bits of your bag that you're using, this pouch. But you know, this pouch is supposed to be for your sewing items, but you know, you use it for all sorts of different things.
Of course, of course. When, obviously you've got your gorgeous Charlie, but other than Charlie, what other breeds of dogs do you particularly like?
Well, we had a golden retriever when I was a child. My husband had a mutt, as he calls him, a mutt. And I think actually you're better, I think they say, don't they, sort of a mixed breed tends to be more hardy as a dog.
Yes.
They tend to last a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But I do have a real love for staffies, and I think because they're quite misread dogs.
Yeah,
you know, people-
misunderstood.
Yeah, there was a big campaign at Battersea a few years ago to try and sort of show people that they're not this sort of scary dog. I mean, they might look scary, but they're actually really pathetic. And we did a little bit of research before we got them, both my husband and I independently, and actually we found that Staffordshire Bull Terriers are the safest dog to have with children, because they're very kind, very calm, and in fact they're called the nanny dog.
Oh,
That is, no, so we kept thinking, oh, actually, you know, they're the best dogs to have.
Oh.
So, in fact, most of our friends have now got dogs, and about 4 of them have got staffies. So, you know,
I love the look of them. I just think they're so distinctive.
Yeah, they do.
Beautiful.
Our dog looks a little bit like Bullseye from Oliver.
Yes,
Oliver Twist.
that is my favourite dog. You know, oh yeah, completely Bullseye.
So just stitching around the outside, around the outside, around the outside.
Susie's saying, Staffies are just big babies.
They are absolutely. It's funny, you know, when I was a kid, when I was growing up, the dogs that everyone said were sort of dangerous and scary were German Shepherds. That was the dog. Or what was the dog they had in The Omen? Is that a Doberman?
I've not seen The Omen.
And they go in these fits and starts. You know, people sort of say, actually, you know, one dog gets a reputation of being a dangerous breed.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, and I think all dogs, you know, all dogs have got potential to be dangerous. You know, it's just, you know, some people mistreat them, don't they?
Yes,
and,
absolutely.
Teach them the wrong things.
Absolutely.
We had to take as part of the whole thing when we got our dog from Battersea, you had to take him for puppy training classes, and I just think it was hilarious. And they said, "Oh, please bring the children. It's really important that children are involved." My kids were quite young at the time, and they said they were just, it was just lovely because everyone was there with these tiny little puppies, learning how to behave. So people were dressed up in sort of with umbrellas and things like that, so the dogs didn't get frightened of the umbrellas and all those things that you have to sort of teach your dog how to do. And my kids just felt it was like the best thing. It meant they didn't have to do their homework that night and they had to go to puppy classes.
Oh,
and it was
that's
just
so sweet.
Favourite time of their lives, I think.
That's just lovely.
Right, so I've just stitched around the outside here and I've left that gap. So now I would want to give this all a bit of a trim or a snip around all those sort of curves here so it can turn around nicely. But I won't bother doing that because you know what I'm trying to do anyway. So I'm just going to turn this all around. Oh, that's not sewn very well. I just have to stitch that bit over
and
again.
This is where we wait and see if Becky has dramatically messed this up or not with the tag.
You're all right.
I have full faith in you. Because let's face it, it's 50-50 at this point, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Well, you know, if it goes wrong, it doesn't matter. We can fix it.
Yeah, of course.
It's not a problem. Just won't be able to fix it before the end of the show.
No.
That's all right. So turn this all around the right way. And I can't remember who said this. It's like giving birth. You're like giving birth to a bag when you turn it all around the right way.
I don't know who said it.
Absolutely disgusting.
But I wish they hadn't. I wish they hadn't. Wow.
But it's.
I don't think you had to say that whilst you were doing those hand movements either, really.
Oh dear. Now, ideally, once you'd finished this off, you would want to give it a press and probably top stitch around the outside just to finish that all out. But you can see that's the bit we're going to fold over to finish off. They're in the right place.
Yay! Of course they are. I totally knew it.
You've got your little grooming pouch. So we'll just pretend that's all bit stitched in like so. And so when you've got all your bits and pieces in here, found some smaller scissors, that would be better. And you could see we've got tweezers and scissors. We can pop all of those items in here. So you've got your dog grooming kit all together. And then when you're ready to pop it all away, you just need to fold it all up and then wrap it round, tie it with a little bow. And then you've got all your dog grooming bits and pieces all to hand when you go travelling. So that's my take on our sewing organiser, if you didn't want to use it for your sewing organising.
That's just great. I think that is so brilliant, especially if you're going to be taking your dog, you know, a little holiday with your camping, with your days out, you know, it's a really, really good idea. Absolutely. Thank you for showing us that. If you would like to make your own dog grooming kit, then you have got the chance. And don't forget, that is the third dog-related thing that Becky has made today. So Becky's dog now has a Liberty grooming kit, a Liberty cushion, a Liberty bandana, and a Liberty lead. I mean,
spoiled.
Spoiled rotten. We've got all of those different sets for you today. If you do want to seize the moment on them, it is just $24.98. Becky, you're off now, aren't you?
I'm back tomorrow.
Yeah, you're leaving the building now,
I'm leaving the building now. I'll finish this off before I go, so it's all tidy.
Cool.
But yeah, I'll be back tomorrow.
And what are you doing with your afternoon?
I might go and do some food shopping. Not very exciting, I'm afraid.
Yay, rock meat roll. Becky, it's a pleasure as always.
Thank you
so much. Lovely to see you as well. Becky will be back with you tomorrow. Don't you go anywhere. Stay exactly where you are, because with the power of magic, the wonderful Becky is going to turn into the fabulous Gwen. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with you after this.
Welcome to Club Inspire, the crafters' companion community where you can feed your crafty obsession. Join our fantastic loyalty club today and receive 20% of your first order. We'll also give you 250 points to help get you started. Other benefits of joining Club Inspire include exclusive special offers and discounts for Club Inspire members only, exclusive sneak peek previews of brand new product launches, and of course the Club Inspire community group on Facebook, where you can access exclusive content such as downloads, offers and inspiration, and of course you can chat and share your makes with other members. You'll receive 1 point for every £1, dollar or euro you spend, and the more points you receive, the more benefits you'll unlock. So what are you waiting for? Sign up, join the club and start rewarding yourself today.
What makes Crafters TV so special is you guys.
It's really special because the experts are really experts. They're really skilled at what they do, and they want to make sure that the audience also improves on their skills.
Crafters TV is so special because you've got together a really sort of key group of people and people that are very passionate about the products.
Crafters TV is so special because it's a unique community that we have with each other, where we can learn and grow and communicate with each other.
Community, the family spirit, the education, everything to do with craft. We are all like-minded people who share a passion.
I love all the inspiration the demonstrators bring and all the knowledge for us out here.
What makes Crafters TV so special? 100% it's the interaction. No other crafting TV channel or show has the same interaction.
I love the community, I love chatting live, I think that's the best part, and it's gone beyond crafting because we've become friends.
It feels to me to be a really, really close relationship with our customers and viewers.
You guys make us feel like we're part of your family. I've never been on the show before, but one of my friends who I did meet from CCTV encouraged me, and I was on the craft along.
A massive team of people, and I think they've all got their role to play, and it just brings everything together. It allows us to do our job and just love it.
The people, obviously, the people not just here at Crafters Companion, but the viewers that watch us. I mean, everybody. We have this real magical essence about it.
Bye for now. Bye.
Welcome back to Crafters TV. It's lovely to have you on board with us. Today we have already had the wonderful Debbie Robinson on treating us to some card makes. We have also had for you Becky Sworn, who has whipped up a storm for International Dogs Day, making dog leads, collar treats and all the rest of it. And now even more treats, we have got the lovely Gwen. Hi Gwen.
Hi, everybody.
You're back.
I'm back.
Apparently your microphone is not on. Oh darn it. It's all right, don't worry. No problemo. These things happen. Now, we have got Gwen from Creative Expressions in with us, and if you've not seen some of these goodies yet, let me tell you, we have got
I'm on now.
Absolutely loads and loads and loads of treats. Are you on now?
I think so. Am I on now?
Yes. Oh, it's like hearing you in 3D.
Right. Go on that.
So we have got some fabulous treats here today. Yes. Can you tell us a little bit about them?
Yes. So we've got Bubble Baubles and Bubble Other Things designed by our wonderful Jane Gill, who is from our woodware branch of Creative Expressions. And what Jane's done, she's designed this really super simple but really clever system of stamps with bubble designs, dies to cut bubbles to fit all the bubbles on the stamps, and then tiny stamps to stamp on the bubbles. That makes sense.
I like that. It does make sense. Yeah. Yeah.
They all coordinate, but they will also all stand alone. So you can stamp the bubble baubles as is and use it in that fashion.
Mm-hmm.
You can cut the bubbles and use those on their own to create minimalist cards. You can use the tiny stamps on their own to create scenes or whatever you want to do. You can stamp the tiny stamps onto the bauble direct. You can stamp the tiny stamps onto the bubbles and then put those on the baubles. So the possibilities are endless.
There's a real mix and match.
It's fantastic. I love these, and we can tell that the design team have loved them too because they've played and done some superb samples. So that speaks volumes.
Absolutely.
When people enjoy what they're doing, it just runs away with them and it shows.
And they've enjoyed playing with it.
Yeah.
So we're going to start off by talking about the Big Bubble Stamp Collection. And this is your collection of 10. And there are lovely different designs in here, aren't there?
Yes. So with several different shapes of baubles, some classic, some slightly more unusual. This one is lovely because if you look at it, it's actually a heart. So if you take away this bit, it could just be a heart that could be used for weddings or anniversaries or perhaps other occasions. So you can use it in its Christmas format or you can use it all year round.
Perfect.
Similar this one, the curly ribbon top round bauble. If you take that top off it, it's a circle.
Yeah.
A circle of circles.
Yes. Yeah.
And so you could use that as a circle.
Lovely.
And then we've got a fat bauble with a nice pointy end. This includes some foliage and ribbon at the top. If you were watching earlier, you might have seen me do a bit with this one. Yes. And if you weren't there, why weren't you?
Yeah, why weren't you?
Joking.
Send us a sick note. No, you can watch it back, of course.
So various different shapes of these baubles, and each of the sets has different little icons to help you enhance perhaps the bauble top, or create a background, or add a sentiment. Lots of foliage, beautiful flowers. Jane, being a trained botanical artist, specialises in those. So you'll find that her foliage and flowers are very realistic, superb. And to get them on this tiny scale, I mean, she's, amazing. I love our happy snowman. He's just got the biggest grin. And those snowflakes, again, sized to fit the bubbles. Then we have our stocking with the lovely holly top, and this fantastic wreath, which is sort of an incomplete wreath. You can decoupage that poinsettia. You can add lots of sparkle to these. I mean, they're just, they're gorgeous.
You're going to have a lot of fun with those ones for sure. So if you do want those today, as you can see, your price is on screen. You're looking at just £60 and 75 pence. Remember, these, so long as you look after them, will last you not just days or weeks, but years. So it's a really good time for you to be able to get your hands on them with that collection. So what else have we got? Well, we have got for you a collection of the assorted twinkle sets. Now, these have been really popular.
Yes.
I bet they're always popular, aren't they?
They are, because it's a really simple way to add a sparkle to something. But what's wonderful about these is this very fine nozzle that gives you complete controllability. They've got a lovely consistency so that they pipe nicely, they dot nicely, you can fill in shapes with them, you can write with them if you want to write a sparkly name. Perhaps you enjoy making things for craft fairs, perhaps you would like to personalise an item. You can do it in sparkle.
Brilliant, isn't it?
And it's flexible, as you were saying earlier, Becky. This piece of card has got the twinkles on there. You can bend this, it's not going to crack and break away. It's a glue-based glitter gel, so it's flexible when it's onto a cardstock and it actually bonds to it, so it's not going to come away.
Brilliant. And they are so sparkly.
They are sparkly.
I always think sparkle is really hard to show on shopping TV.
Yes.
But actually, on your screen, times that by like 110% and you will see how sparkly it is.
Yeah, I mean, that one in the middle, you can hardly see it. That's the Aurora sparkle.
Yeah.
I particularly love that one because whatever colour's behind it, it takes on shades of that.
Brilliant. Oh, it's just wonderful. Yeah. Okay, 50% of my stock has gone on this collection of the twinkles. Just to let you know, it is now at 50% gone. So please do seize the moment on that one as quickly as you possibly can. Again, discount deal on this, saving 10%, so do grab that one. And you're getting all 5 of those wonderful colours, including that Aurora, which Gwen was just saying takes on those fabulous colours. So grab those ones whilst you can. Okey-pokey. We have also got for you sorry, what are you saying to me, Jamie? Jamie, it sounded like you said to me something about a big bum. I presume you didn't, and because if so, I am getting in touch with HR. The bubble craft dies is what he's actually said.
Bubble craft
so
dies.
Thank you very
Okay.
much.
So these are what you're going to need if you want to fill your bubbles in your stamps. And these will cut you lots of circles. So you've got the original set, which gives you 3 small sizes, and you get lots of each. And then the newer big set, which gives you 3 sizes, 2 of each. And that will give you sufficient easily to fill up 1 bauble, if not 2. So all you need to do is decide what you want to cut them from. Earlier this morning, I cut some from an inky background. We cut some from your designer paper. You could cut them in vellum, whatever you want. They're just beautiful. And you can use these as circles. So if you just want perhaps the centre of a flower and you haven't got the right size circle, that would be cool.
Great.
You can use them to create a stencil. So you could cut this out of a piece of paper and use it to stencil through and create a lovely circly background. I mean, there are so many things you could do with them. And they're not expensive. It's one of those things that once you've got it in your stash, I think you'll reach for time and time again.
Yeah, I can agree
But in
with that.
conjunction with these stamps, they give you the perfect size to fit in each of these little designated areas without any problem at all. It's so easy, so
Perfect.
easy.
And that's kind of the job done for you,
Yes.
really, isn't it? We've got some other dies as well, haven't we?
We have, so we've got the tile toppers. So these again are going to fit, we haven't spoken about them yet, but I'm sure we will, the bubble top stamps. So these give you little windows, and we've got a rectangle and a square, and each of these cuts out all of these little squares, which then gives you a surface to stamp on. So you can then create your own geometric patterns. You can put these on the diamond, so you can create a diamond pattern. You can use the frame as a window. We saw some of that earlier, didn't we?
They were beautiful,
Yeah.
really nice.
And they each come with 2 dies, so you have an outer cutting edge, so that's great for matting and layering your products as well.
Yeah.
And then you've got your inner frame, which cuts separately. If you cut the 2 together, you'll get a frame. If you just cut the inner portion, it doesn't have an outer cutting edge, so you could cut an aperture into the front of your card and it would leave it in the card, so you could have little windows in the front of your card.
That's a lovely idea.
So again, loads of versatility. And you know, you could just create 1 row of these and then a lovely sentiment or perhaps a flower. So many options, just brilliant.
And I suppose because it doesn't have an outside cutting edge, you could cut it and then line one up next to it, and you could go on and on and on, couldn't it?
Absolutely. And the beauty of not having the outer cutting edge is that you can make the border around it as wide as you like.
It's brilliant, that, isn't it? Isn't that so useful?
Yeah.
So we are going to chat about the exactly
Can't
you're
do
reaching
the bubbles
for it.
without the bubbles.
We are.
So you've got big bubble, small tiles, big bubble, medium, not tiles, tops, and big bubble, large tops.
Okay.
What that sort of means is that this is the big bubble die. So because of that, these are big bubble, and then you've got small, medium and large. So these fit these circles.
Perfect.
But of course you can use them in lots of other ways. They will also fit these squares. They can also be used completely independently. You can put them inside circles, inside squares, or freestanding. So these are superb, and you've so many to choose from. Some of them have the same image repeated. So some of the little houses you get in 3 sizes. So you can create perspective if you want to create a scene.
Oh, perfect.
Imagine a little village scene. Hopefully I'll get to show you that on tonight's show later on. You know, snowy hills and little villages and stuff. Honestly, you're going to have such fun. It allows you to be so creative. But Jane's done all this fantastic design work for you to make it look so professional when you've done it. You're going to love them.
I love that. Professional, but the hard work's been done for you. You don't have to tell anyone that, but it has been. So you're getting the 3 sets of those ones with those stamps. Just $17.99 for all of those. And they're all individual, so there's lots to be getting on with. $17.99 or $25.99 for you. Now, Cosmic Shimmer Intense Pigment has been popular. And no surprise, because we had a wonderful demo from Gwen with it earlier on, a couple actually, so they absolutely flew out. This is high intensity, isn't it?
Yes, these are some of my favourite products. I say that about most of them, but, but really. Intense pigment stain. It's intense. That means it's got a lot of colour in there, very concentrated. Pigment, that's the dye content, the pigment content, the colour content, sorry. Stain it's a stain, so it will stay where you put it. It's water-based, so it's not ideal on non-porous surfaces. Get your words out, Gwen.
That's right.
But on any porous surface, it's going to behave like an ink, like a paint. You can make your own sprays with these, just a couple of drops in a spray bottle, top up with water, and you've got your own sprays. You could even pop in a little bit of mica with those to create your own shimmer sprays. So these little bottles of magic are going to go a long, long way.
If you do want to seize the moment, the Deep Plum has sold out now.
Oh.
Just to let you know.
Not surprised. It's a gorgeous colour.
It is a very unique colour, that one, isn't it? So these are your colour, treats that you can get your hands on.
Yeah.
And there's a lovely variation in them, isn't there?
There is. You've got your primaries there because you've got a yellow, you've got a blue, and you have a red. Now, as we know, if you've got those three colours, you can create your secondaries and you're off with your colour wheel. Then we've given you a different sort of green, two different greens, a slightly different blue, a deeper red, and a brown, and then that dark plum, which we won't talk about.
Ignore it.
Yeah. So if we just run through the colours individually, starting from here, we've got the sage green, which is what it says. It's a grey green. It's a nice soft green. It's very concentrated. These swatches I've done are full concentration. Obviously you can wash them down and get many different effects with these. Then we've got our teal ocean, which has got that fantastic Mediterranean blue. We've got cocoa bean, which is a lovely warm brown. And then sunflower yellow, which is a beautiful bright sunny yellow, as it says. Then we have our garnet star. Now, if you look at garnet star and rich crimson, you might think, well, they're the same. They're actually not the same at all. And when you start using them, you'll realise, because when you wash them down, you see the more of the variation.
Yeah, I see.
But the garnet star is very definitely more on the brown edge of the colour palette. And your rich crimson is a proper blood red, red. Then we've got the citrus lime, which is such a zingy, gorgeous,
I love that
happy
one.
colour.
I'm just thinking of all of those, the tropical things that are really in fashion right now. That's what it makes me feel like.
And the bluebell, which is just the colour of wild bluebells, it's stunning, and it is slightly different from, well, it's very different actually from the teal ocean. It perhaps doesn't show so well on your screens, but as I'm looking at it, there's a definite difference.
Oh, there's a massive difference.
There's a definite teal, and then you've got this sort of bright blue.
Like if I were to
like
look
a sky blue.
In fact, if I were to look at that colour, I would say it was blue. But in real life, if I was to look at that, I would say it was turquoise. Yeah,
they are quite different.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are, well, you've 8 colours available now. So if you see your favourite, I wouldn't hang about because obviously they're going quite quickly.
They are indeed. So please do scoop them up. Because one thing I will mention to you as well is you're looking at 19 mils here for platinum price today is £2.15. These last and last and last, you were saying.
They do a long, long time. You need the tiniest amount. If you watched me painting earlier, I put less than a drop. It was like I literally just touched the nozzle into my palette and that covered half that bow I was painting. Yeah. And if you're going to make sprays with them, 2 drops in a spray bottle, a small spray bottle, fill with water. You've got still a strong colour to spritz with.
It's brilliant.
You can do your mop-up techniques, you can stencil with them. They're just, I love them.
They're just wonderful.
I love them.
They really are. Now, with the bubbles, on some of the cards, we have used the bubbles flat, but you can also use them domed, and we need a tool to help us do that. Oh, please let me show you this, because if you've only just tuned in, this is the type of effect that you can get with these elements, and it's these sections here, which if I just slightly turn it to the side, you can see now that 3D element coming into play. It is tactile. As soon as I saw these, it might have even been before I said hello to Gwen, which is quite rude, but I sort of went up to them and instantly, you just can't help. You need to run your fingers over it.
They are so tactile. And
so
actually
tactile.
Thinking about sometimes, we need to make cards for people who are perhaps visually impaired.
So true.
And something like this would be a wonderful thing because they are so tactile,
They really are.
They might not be able to see exactly what the image is, but they can certainly feel all that lovely texture going on.
It is beautiful.
So, yeah.
If you do want to create the doming, we need the right tools, don't we, Gwen?
We do, and we've brought them for you, of course. So from, again, our woodware selection, we've got for you the shaping pad. It's 5x7, it's quite a big pad. It's a nice, firm, dense sponge, which gives you the perfect surface for shaping paper and card onto. So for shaping flowers or anything like that, and curling paper, it's perfect for that. Sometimes if you know, like when you curl ribbon, I sometimes like to do that with little strips of card. And if you just put it down on here and then run your bone folder across it, it just curls up like magic. It's brilliant. Cool. So lots of ways to use that. And then we've also brought you this amazing selection of ball-ended tools. This set of 3 gives you 6 ends, and one of them here is the biggest I've ever seen. It probably does give you the sizes, but I've not got my glasses on, can't read it. But these are great for shaping and refining, not just these circles, but of course your flowers and things as well that need shaping. So this big one here is great to get you started. Just run round the circle edge with that, and then gradually work your way into the middle of the circle, and you'll create a lovely little cup shape, which is going to give you that fantastic dome texture on your projects.
It's just really fab, and it makes such a massive difference. It really truly does, so it's a great one to treat yourself to. There's another thing that we have for you today, which is our clear block. Now this is very useful for this, isn't it?
Looks very insignificant, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'll be honest.
It's one of those workhorses. It's the perfect size for these little tiny stamps, of course, and also for a lot of the extra little additional stamps on your stamp sets. So things like the little hearts, lots of the foliage, even some of the sentiments. This block is going to cover them all. And you need this for your stamp to cling to give it a solid foundation so that you can actually stamp it and press with it. So you just cling your stamp to that, ink it, and away you go. Peel the stamp off, back on its plate. Give this a wash if need be, and it's ready to go. Very, very useful. I've got about 3 of these, and when I'm stamping things like this, I'll have 3 on the go with different stamps on. So I'm not constantly swapping and changing and cleaning. So yeah, really great. I'd buy a couple of these if you can stretch to it.
Brilliant. If you do want to seize the moment on that, then do seize the moment on it. That's with your Shippy Tool collection. Now, there is a lot of treasures and treats to go through. We have got demos on the way as well. What I want to do is I want to give you the opportunity to check out your baskets. The reason I want to do this is because some things we've sold out of already, some things I've got over half the stock gone. And what I don't want is, if you're anything like me, you've put it in your basket and then you go, I'll do it later, or oh, I'll sort that out later, and then it comes to it and actually one of those things you really wanted is gone. So I'm going to give you a minute or two to check out your baskets before we come back for more demonstrations. And whilst we do that, let's learn more about Corin.
Hello, I'm Corin Robinson, and I am having an absolutely fantastic time up here working for Crafter's Companion. So my crafting journey began back in, I have to get this the right way around, 2001. I went to a craft workshop just at a craft store, and I was absolutely hooked. My mum convinced me to go because she wanted to go, and I've not looked back since 2001, and I'm still going now. My crafty inspirations are, I have to be inspired by my grandmother. She was an amazing sewer, and I just love to take inspiration from her. I can't sew, but I am blown away by what she used to do. But I just am inspired by all my colleagues around me, the other experts. I've just done a show today where we have third parties in, and I just love watching them and take little bits from them and then put my own twist on it. What's it like having crafty colleagues? It's fantastic. We are an amazing team. The support from Crafter's Companion is brilliant. I have loved it. As you know, I've not been here overly long, but the team have opened their arms and welcomed me so fantastically. And I love watching the shows because a lot of the tips and techniques that you'll see me do in my shows, I picked up from my colleagues by watching their shows. What non-craft facts can I share with you? I have my pride and joy at the moment is my gorgeous little Cavapoo dog. I absolutely love her. Miss her like mad when I come up here. Elsie's at home with my husband. What is my biggest crafting success? Oh, I just think it was the day I was able to give up a 9-to-5 job and be able to come and be a craft demonstrator full time. And then the excitement when I came to join this team was amazing. I just think that has to be up there at the top for me.
Welcome back, you lovely person. How's your afternoon going? Are you feeling like the inspiration's just coming at you left, right and centre? Well, I've got news for you, there's more. We have got the fabulous Gwen in with us from Creative Expressions, and if you have just tuned in, Gwen has very kindly given me some samples here to show you, and I'll be honest, most of that break I didn't listen to a word that Corinne said because I was just flipping through these. They are sensational. Be prepared to be inspired. I love this. Look how great this is. They've actually used buttons and things on this.
I forgot to mention that. Yeah, of course you can use your buttons, your gems, your pearls, anything else you've got that'll fit in those little circles. Go for it. How beautiful is that?
It's fabulous. I just love it. Look at this one here. This is best wishes for the festive season. I adore this. I think it goes to show you that just, you know, as your stamps, as you use them, it's striking. This is essentially your white on top of your black, but it really is eye-catching and nice to see that you can actually add colours into it also. I think that's beautiful. This one I think is just wow, isn't it?
Isn't it? That's what I was trying to talk about earlier, about those smaller baubles, using them to create a whole background. You don't have to use them as a total focal point. You can create fantastic backgrounds by repeat stamping, and that's what I think Christine's done that one, and that's what she's done.
It's just absolutely beautiful. It is, Christine. It's just gorgeous. So from using it as a background to seriously focal, and this is focal by wonderful Jane herself. Look at the, I mean.
I know, isn't it stunning? Jane's done quite a lot of the samples herself actually, and she's got a beautiful style. Here she's teamed it up with some of Jamie Rogers' Pixie Sparkles, which some of you I'm sure have seen.
Yes.
And done that gorgeous, super sparkly background, and then that fabulous bubble bauble on there, and some stamped foliage. And that's all you need. And it's an amazing card that everybody would receive and think, ooh, that is, you'd see that in a high-end store, wouldn't you, for, you know,
yeah,
£7, £8.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the type that you would buy in a pack.
No.
It would be one.
No.
Yeah, completely. And do you know what? Looking at this, I don't know if it's kind of the direction of it or whatever, but using it this way, different colours, I'm seeing peacock feather. That to me is sort of like the eye of the top of the feather. Is a beautiful movement to that. I have got this as well, which is created with some serious amount of bling
Isn't
to
that
it.
Stunningly sunny and bright and cheerful.
So
I
happy.
love that.
So happy. It really is beautiful. The stocking is really shown off beautifully here. I love that they've not gone for the traditional. This is Caroline that says. Not gone for the traditional red colour. So that for me makes it quite interesting. It makes it kind of quite edgy, but also, obviously I've got the holly on here, but also it kind of makes me think of, you know, just your dad's socks hung up on the radiator. Do you know what I mean? I think that's wonderful. We have got absolutely oodles of inspiration for you here. And one thing I did also want to show you as well as these actually is the ones that we've worked when there's been a scene built up. I mean, this is so clever, the way that this is done. So am I right in saying this is using the die and the little stamps as well?
That's correct, yes. So it's the tile topper dies. And as I said, when you cut those out, you get lots of little squares, and then you can just pop them in a pot, colour them before or after you cut them, and then just stamp on them when you're ready to put together some quick little cards. Now I think those you could put in a pack of 6 with envelopes and make a fantastic little gift or something to sell on your craft fairs.
Completely.
Perhaps you need gifts for school or Christmas cards for your children's school friends. They're quick, beautiful and still stylish and just gorgeous.
Absolutely. And if the twinkle on that's framing this is catching your eye, it's the Aurora that we've got. This is popular too, getting low in stock, so do seize the moment. I really like this one. It just makes me smile.
I love that. That's a bit of Jane. And she just created a snow line, repeat stamped that lovely reindeer, and one little random Christmas tree in there as well. It's just beautiful. And again, it's one of those very clean, modern cards that you would expect to see in sort of a gallery-style card shop. Very posh. You know, you'd be paying a lot of money for that. You can create this at home and you could be selling them, because we have a good angel policy. As long as what you've made is a finished article, you can sell them.
It's just wonderful, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, and I love the little sparkly noses. It's just so lovely.
Just a dot of that, red twinkles on each little nose, and you've got a row of
It goes
Rudolphs.
extra. I love it. I quite like the idea of that, you know, almost on like a bookmark as well, going downwards. I think they could look quite... Oh, there's just loads you could do with these, isn't there?
We could almost frame it as a Christmas deck as well, couldn't you, you know?
Of course you can. Brilliant idea. I love this one too. I could just sit and I mean, look at this one. I really should be cracking on and doing stuff, but I just can't help but go through all of these. They're just stunning.
I love those little houses. There are several different ones. There's at least 4 different ones, and as I say, in different sizes. They've all been hand drawn by Jane. I just find her so inspirational.
Talented. Yeah, really
and then
is.
sized perfectly for all the little bubbles. But yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
I believe that one is flat. I don't think there are bubbles on that.
Yeah, no, that one is, yeah.
So that's been done by creating a stencil with the bubble die and then inking through to create little baubles. It's just gorgeous.
So clever. If you do want to see, treat yourself to the big collection with those stamps that are currently on your screen right now. Shall we dive on into a demo? Oh, go on, twist us arms. What are we going to be working with first?
So let's start with the Joy bauble. This is a long, elegant, slimline bauble, not like me at all.
Oh, stop.
And what I've done with this one, I had, and I'm sure some of you have you ever played with a jelly plate? I have stacks and stacks of gel plate backgrounds that I've done over the time, and you just save them because you know they're going to come in. Well, this is what I've decided to use it for. This is a gel plate background I created some time ago with Cosmic Shimmer products, I have to say, and it was a piece, A4-ish, and I've chopped it down and got 2 panels out of it, and I'm going to stamp on that. The reason I'm not showing you the background is we've not brought you the gel plate today, but I just wanted to show you how, if you have those stacks of gel plate backgrounds or other backgrounds that you might have created, how you can bring those into play for something like this as well. So I'm going to take this amazing, I love this, the shape of this, it's just, I don't know, it appeals to me somehow. I'm going to pop my stamp in place, leaving room at the top for some embellishing because this particular stamp set has foliage, and I'm going to add a proper ribbon bow to this one. So let's just pop that in place, and it's just lifted my card. This is the thing about clear stamps, they are a little bit sticky, so I'm going to use my anti-static pad. This is to stop my embossing powder from sticking where I don't want it. So just give a quick rub over with that. And what I'm going to do this time, I'm going to stamp it with a black ink, and I'm going to emboss it with an embossing powder that we call Silver Fish. And it's the most beautiful powder, and it's another one of those which, no matter what you put it over, it takes on the colour of what's behind it, but it also has the most gorgeous sparkle. So this is another one of my favourites. I've said that a lot today, I know. It's so true. I can't have a favourite, they're all favourites.
They're all favourites.
So I'm using again the VersaFine Clair, which is a fabulous ink pad specifically formulated for your clear stamps. It grips to them nicely so you don't get that beading happening. I'm going to press all over that image and then just let that come up. If you're not happy with your image, of course, in the stamp press, you can stamp again. But I'm happy with that. I've not got any bits missing. So let's get on our embossing powder. All right. So you can see how it's lovely and sparkly. But it's not till you heat it that it changes and takes on, as I say, the colour of what might be underneath it. So let's bring in our heat gun. And just take that out of the way. Am I switched on? Oops. Okay. Just let your heat gun warm up before you take it to the project. That way you're not going to scorch your card while you're waiting for the heat gun to heat up. Go straight in when it's hot. So the first thing it does is melt the powder.
And the first time you see it happen before your eyes, it's like magic, isn't it?
And it's really quick because these lines are very fine. So it's very quick to change. There's not much there.
No.
So that's it, we're done.
Brilliant.
Okay, let me put this out of the way. Oops. Don't tip your embossing powder everywhere. All right, so we've got our bauble then, stamped and embossed. The next thing I'd like to show you is another way to use the intense pigment stains, because we like them a lot.
We do indeed. Some colours have already sold out, so do grab them quickly.
So I've had to change my plan because of that. So I'm going to be using today the sage green and the garnet star.
Ooh, lovely.
So, again, I'm just going to put a drop, literally one drop. Now, this is, you know, it's hard to convey how far these go, but that's one little drop in my palette. Now, I'm going to bring into this some water. I thought I had a bigger brush, but I seem to have not, so I'll have to persevere with this one. So if you add some water to this, depends with how strong you want it to be. If you water it down, obviously it's going to be much lighter. And look at that.
Is that one your garnet, did you say?
This is the garnet star.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
I mean, the richness, it's true saturation, isn't it?
It really is, yes, that's exactly it. With all the Cosmic Shimmer products, you'll find we've got an intense amount of whatever the product is, be it dye, pigment, mica, it's always jam-packed in there. Now, this doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to use this to cut my bubbles out of, so it doesn't need to be perfect. It's quite nice, in fact, to have a little bit of variation.
Great.
So that's one colour. And then I want to create a second colour, and I'm going to use sage green for this. So I already had that in my palette earlier, so I can go back in. If you do keep them in a palette like this, just let them dry, and then when you come back you can reactivate them. You don't need to keep washing them away.
That's always good.
So again, just a little bit of water.
I've had a question in from Sharon, which I'm not the person to ask, so I'm going to ask it, and you will know the answer to this for sure.
Ooh, I don't know.
Will the little stamps fit into some of the circles on the woodware bubble stamps from last year?
Yes, is the quick answer.
Perfect.
However, not in totality, because they're a lot smaller. So this was last year's size, this was last year's die, and Jane did a whole load of stamps made up of much smaller bubbles. She also has done some that aren't Christmassy, some beautiful foliage and floral bubble stamps. So there's a whole range. Have a look on websites and things to find those. But yes, certainly there's nothing to stop you stamping on these little baubles with some of the smaller stamps, or just a partial stamp, you know, just the sprig from a leaf or some berries or something like that. You can certainly use them on these, absolutely. It just might not be the whole design that you capture.
Okay, great.
All right. So that's my bubble cardstock created, and what I'm then going to do is cut those, and you can see how I've already done it with two pieces. So that was the plum, which unfortunately we've sold out of, and this was the sage green, and you can see where I've cut my bubbles, and I'm just going to cut this piece and get some bigger bubbles. Let me just get rid of that excess that I don't need. Just run this through a small die cut machine, or if you've got your Gemini, of course, that's going to accept them perfectly. All of the dies we've brought for you today will fit through a smaller machine, so if that's all you've got access to, then you can use it.
Just to let you know, that was meant to be the noise of something breaking, because not like breaking news, that's more like boom, 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 isn't it? Oh, isn't that the start of a song? Anyway, my point is, the bundle of the twinkles no longer exists.
Oh.
It's gone.
Wow.
So we have got like one or two of like individual ones available, just when we had slightly more extra than we had in the bundle. So if you do want them, I cannot encourage you enough to grab whatever is left now, because these are selling like hot cakes. I will also let you know that if you want the Leanne surprise bags with like over £100 worth of saving, I'm getting very low in stock on those, so well worth just having a nosy online on our website.
Right, so I've got a bag full here of goodies, of stamps, some stamped, some not, bubbles created with the intense pigment stains, all in the same way I've just shown you, and you can see what a gorgeous plethora of circles we have. And I'm starting to collect bags and little boxes full of these. When I need them, they're there, and I can just go to it and have a really good session of stamping with the gorgeous little bubble top stamps. So for this particular one, I'm going to be using the Big Bubble Large Tops.
Easy for
Jane,
you to say,
you
Gwen. You need to say that slowly sometimes.
So I'm going to grab one of the houses, pop it onto my stamping block, and I'm going to use my black ink again. The beauty of this is, you know, sometimes when you're stamping things and you're trying to get it straight, you don't have to bother because it's on a circle.
Of course. Oh, yeah.
That's a top tip.
Great point. I love that.
So grab a circle, pop your stamp over the top. Sorry if my head's in the way. And just press down firmly. When you're stamping, just give the ink time to transfer into the cardstock. Sometimes we remove the stamp a little bit quickly and then we're like, oh, I haven't got a good impression. Give the ink time to move. And then you will get a beautiful image.
That's a really good tip. I'm looking through these images and some of them are tray festive, but some of them actually are all year round, aren't they?
Oh yeah, there's all sorts in there.
Presents,
even the foliage,
candles.
although
Yeah,
it's
foliage.
probably, knowing Jane, it
Birds.
will be botanically accurate as winter foliage,
Yeah.
you know. But Christmas actually is a very small part of the festive season, isn't it? The rest of it, you know, you're talking winter birthdays perhaps.
Totally.
So certainly, yes, you could make some beautiful winter cards with these, not just Christmas cards.
I've also found the little story that you were telling us about.
Can you read it? Because it's so
yes,
cute.
I will. It's, this little elf went to market, this little elf stayed at home. This little elf ate candy cane, this little elf had none. And this little elf yelled, ho, 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 all the way home. That's so adorable. That's so
great.
cute.
I love it.
And do you know what? It's amazing because, as we've said, these are, you know, a small stamp, perfect for this. But the way that is written is so legible, even though it's really small. That's brilliant. I love that.
It is quite incredible, isn't it, how clear they are?
Yeah.
I mean, this little reindeer, it's got so much character and its antlers are visible and everything's visible. It's just quite, yeah, it's amazing.
Magical.
Speechless. Not what happens often, that. So I'm going to show you, if I just grab the small tops and we can have a look at, who was the lady that asked a question?
Sharon it was.
Sharon. Let's have a look, because some of these are definitely from the smaller dies, look. And we can certainly stamp on them with some of these. So let's have a look. There's some gorgeous, very delicate little foliage. Let's have a look at that. Even on a tiny one, we can create a gorgeous little design. Can you see?
Oh, yeah, lovely.
And if we go on to this slightly bigger one here, let's have a different part of the plant. This is like a little tiny pine sprig, and I think it's one of those, you know, certain things that become so useful. I think that's one that I would use, well, I have used time and time again.
Yes. Yeah, yeah.
So yes, you can definitely stamp. Maybe some of them that need to be the full image wouldn't work exactly, but I have done a couple where I've just used a snowflake and I've just managed to capture the centre of the snowflake. So it actually looked a little bit more like something folk arty rather than a snowflake. So, you know, like a little medallion almost. Sorry if my head's in the way again.
Don't worry. Don't forget, if you've got any questions for Gwen, you can get in touch with us on our socials. I'd also like to know what you're crafting today, and also like to know, as it is International Dog Day, what's your dog called? Why are they called that? And also any mischievous dog stories, always welcome. When your pups maybe been a little bit mischievous, do feel free to message us in. We weren't going to do any more dog photos, but we've had one in that's just too cute, so we'll be showing you that in a moment as well. I'm back with you, Gwen.
Okay, so I decided for this particular bauble that I was going to leave the bubbles flat because you can do that. So I'm going to put the glue, this is another tip, put the glue onto the card with the bauble stamp rather than trying to glue the back of one of these.
Okay.
It makes it much easier to then pop it in place. Okay.
Clever.
Now this particular bauble has two of the largest size circles. So I've got this gorgeous holly leaf and I've done those in the two different colours. Then we've got the next size down. So we'll choose one of those to go in there and you just continue like this, and you don't have to stamp on all of them. In fact, I feel they look better when they're not all stamped on, but that's a personal thing. And then we've got some other sizes that we can add to this. So let me grab my pickup tool and I've got to find the right size. So let's have a plain one in the darker colour. And this is the beauty of using the intense pigment stains, because you can create loads of different colours. I've only used two colours, but I've got all these different shades of bubbles to put on there. So it's really worth playing around with your colours. Let me find the right size for that. Pop that in there. And they fit so well. It's just beautiful.
And you were saying they fit when they're domed and when they're not.
They do. I know it sounds like an impossibility, but because the doming happens without a huge amount of retraction of the shape. Right. You're not doming them to like a point. You know, it's just slightly domed, so it doesn't take up too much of the dimension of it, if that makes sense.
That's brilliant.
So obviously I'm going to come back to my twinkles. Now this one is the vintage holly. Do we have that one left?
The vintage holly is one that we do have left. As I said, we don't have all of the colours left now, but that is one we do.
So what I'm going to do here is fill up some more of these tinier baubles. I just need to get this flowing. Sometimes it's worth just squeezing a little bit out to make sure that you haven't got an air bubble in it. Because there's nothing worse, you start piping onto here and it suddenly goes and there's an air bubble. So yeah, just squeeze a little bit out, get it flowing, and then just press it to the card surface, and you can do loads of different sizes. You just squeeze till it fills the little circle that you want it to.
And you see how quick that is?
It is very quick.
Although you've used quite a few techniques in this, actually, because of the products that you're showing and kind of the way that you're showing us, although this looks a very, very high-end, luxurious card, I imagine that actually it's something beginners could have a go at.
Definitely. And actually the products are quite inexpensive, so you know you could really go to town with these. It's not going to be costing you a fortune to make a card like this.
Yeah.
So again, you know,
but it would to buy you a card like this.
To buy a card like this, you could charge a lot for it if you're selling your cards. I'm going to bring in a little bit of the decadent teal. I hope we've got that.
That is one that we have a handful left of, but we do.
And although at first instance you might think, well, they don't go together, if you look at my background, there's teal and green in there, so I can use teal and green together on my focal image. And that's something I like to do, is bring colours together with the products I have. So I won't do all of that, but you get the picture. Fill it up with the baubles, fill it up with your glitter, or if you prefer, you could use some little crystals, some little pearls, some little gems. I don't know about you, but I always end up with odds and all sorts of different colours that are no good. Fill up these little designs with things like that, and they'll be absolutely beautiful. So I just want to finish the top of this, and I'm going to paint the bauble cap.
There's a lot of B's. I feel like if this was the Sesame Street episode, it would have been sponsored by the letter B.
My mouth is ceasing to function. So I've just painted that with a tiny bit of the intense pigment stain, and then I can go on top of that with my twinkles, and that doesn't even have to be dry. In fact, if you put it on when it's not dry, they will sort of meld together.
Oh, I see. We have sold out of this colour that's on
Sorry.
the screen right now. No, don't worry about it. It's fine.
You
If
could
you've got
use
the
that
Aurora.
lovely antique holly if you wanted a green top. Now the next thing I'd like to do is utilise the stamps that come, where's it gone, on the stamp set itself. Okay, so we have Tidings of Comfort and Joy, which is going to be our sentiment, but we've got this beautiful foliage, very delicate pine sprigs, and I'm going to stamp this using an archival ink pad. The reason for that is it's a permanent ink pad and it's oil based. So with everything else that's going on my background, I wanted something that wasn't going to interfere and start to disturb other inks and other products. So I'm using this archival permanent ink pad, and I'm just going to bring in a couple of these gorgeous foliages. Is that a word?
Foliage. Well, it's folii.
Is that a word?
Foliage.
No. All right, so we can have this going off in different directions. Try and vary your angles and your positioning when you're doing foliage. What's lovely is that Jane's given us a left and a right. I always love that in foliage, especially if you want to create, you know, sprays or perhaps wreaths.
Yes.
Because it just helps with the natural look of it if they're going off in different directions. So I'm bringing the other one. Same thing. Let's ink this. And pop it to that side. It's
It all
just
adds up, doesn't it? It's
beautiful. It really
amazing.
brings it alive, doesn't it?
Yeah, completely.
And then one going off up in this way. I think that I'm rubbish at flower arranging, I'll tell you that. So for me, I sort of do what looks right. Whether it is right or not, I don't know. But what I do know I don't like is when they sort of dead uniform, you know, and they go off all parallel and that.
Yeah.
Try and change the direction, try and change the angle. It helps it to look a little bit more natural. There's also a tiny little berry stamp on there, which you could use.
Great.
Now I'm going to bring in another archival colour. This is a plummy colour, and I'm going to bring in the sentiment. And we're nearly there. And just find a spot where that can sit. Get it straight if you can. If you can't, pop it in your stamp positioner and then you can have it exactly where you want it, of course.
Good tip. Roseanne has messaged in saying, "Hi everyone from New Hampshire. I'm in New Hampshire for the weekend to celebrate my great niece Sophia's 4th birthday."
Oh,
hi, that's so lovely. I hope you're having a brilliant time. Great niece. Well, I never.
Yeah, how lovely. Enjoy.
New Hampshire. Oh, it sounds very exotic, I think. New Hampshire. I hope you and your family have a gorgeous time. Did you get her any presents to be, you know, greatest great auntie? I bet you did. I hope you're having a lovely time, Sharon. Lots of you getting in touch with how much you're absolutely adoring these makes and this inspiration. If you are treating yourself to these, let us know what you're treating yourself to. Message us in. I'm being nosy. Do feel free to let us know, because a lot of these are going. If you do want to get social info, is at the bottom of the screen now.
So I've just applied that panel now to some cardstock that's got a complementary sage coloured sort of tone to it. I'm just going to neaten up the tails of my ribbon. I've tied a bow already. And then we can pop this on. And I can show you how with just a few very small changes, these two cards look very different. And again, if you were doing a set of cards, you could do different colours. You don't have to do a huge amount. Now that bow is going to hide the stems, obviously, of the foliage where, you know, they were a bit random. That would need a little bit of time to set for the ribbon. But there you have one version that I've just created, and here's my original But they started from the
great.
same background,
That's
same
so
colours,
magical.
but by inking with a different colour, I've inked this one with green, this one with burgundy, that's mounted on grey, that's mounted on green, slightly different colours in the panel, and there you go.
It's just stunning. It really, really is. Thank you so much for showing us that. You've got the 10-piece baubles. Now it is time to get our vote on the go for demo of the show. I'm going to make an executive decision here, which is interesting because I'm not an executive. Because last time Becky had missed out her. She forgot to put this into the vote. Oh, Becky. I'm going to pop this in too. So let's have a reminder on our show of our makes today. We have got for International Dog Day, number 1 is this one. That is number 1. We also today made a dog cushion. So this one again made by Becky. It is the dog cushion. That's number 2. As well as that, we created a bandana with a lead. So I'm going to have them together. So this on your collar is it's like an invisible dog. I could put like some wire in that and just pretend. But yeah, this is the bandana collar and the dog lead. And so that would be 3. I've got a number 4, which was the dog grooming kit. Again, just to show you, here is number 4. We learned how to make all of these today. And we've also got Gwen's makes. Gwen, can you remind us what you made?
All day?
No, just this one. This show, yeah.
So that was my original one, just to show you a slight colour variation. And that's the one you just saw me do live.
Beautiful. So we'll
fall off.
We'll combine. We'll use the one that's sort of finished, and we'll say that is the final option. So get voting on social media, and we'll let you know the demo of the show later. Okay, let me tell you more about the Big Bubble stamps, if I may. Big Bubble festive stamps. We're going to be bringing to you big collection here. Now, we're bringing, it says 10 pieces, and what I mean by that is 10 packs, because as you can see, you are getting multiple of stamps on this. There's loads and loads of different ones. There's lots of nice sentiments too. So for example, I've got on this one a best wishes. I've also got for you here a happy Christmas. You've got plenty. This is the one that lovely Gwen's just made with. So if you wanted to recreate that, that's in the pack too. Best wishes for this festive season. That's a nice one too. If you know you don't want it to be Christmas, you want it to be more to do with the festive season. That's a really useful one. I've got these ones here, which are lovely little delicate ones, but as you can see, really nice and legible. And you've got the Christmas tree shape, which I think is really good fun. Possibly the happiest snowman ever to be seen is your inspo on this one. I've also got your stocking, and then I've got this wreath design, which is kind of like a half open wreath. To me, when I'm turning it that way, it's almost like a sort of you can make this almost like a magical crescent moon. It's got that kind of feel to it. I just think it's a beauty, that one. So those are your ideas. Let me show you some inspiration that I haven't managed to show you yet, but quite frankly, I love it. Look at this one. I mean, that looks like the whole thing has been hand painted painstakingly over the space of, 3 months, doesn't it? And although it has all individually been done, obviously some of the hard parts with the actual shape is done for you. It's just incredible. And it's amazing, actually. Let me find if I can. I know it's not the exact same one, but just as an idea, it's the same concept, but it's a completely different feel. It's magical, really, isn't it? I've got this one too, which is just divine. Another one made by just look at the shimmer. This one is made by Jane, and I love the colours on this. That purple and that limey, zesty green. It is not a traditional Christmassy colour at all, and I really like that about it. And then finally, for now, I'll show you this one too, which I just think is just sensational. So much depth, so much dimension in this, and so much of your sparkle. So if you do want to get your hands on those sparkles, make sure you grab in your twinkles whilst we've got some of the colours still available. So those are some of you to treat yourself to. Some of these things that I've had on show for you today are so... Oh no, I found another one here that I really wanted to show you. I really want to show you this one. So low on in quantity, some elements now. So let me just warn you that if you have had your eye on anything, it is definitely time to get in quick with us here. So do seize the moment and do check out those baskets as quickly as you can. Okie pokely, we have got a winner through, and the winner from the dog show was the cushion. I am a little bit worried that Becky Sworn's dog's going to be without a cushion, but if the dog doesn't have a cushion, the dog will just have to sleep on the bed. Serves you right. If you do want to recreate this, don't forget all of our shows are recorded, so we will put them up on socials for you, on YouTube, etc. So do have a little look at those on our website, and that will go towards the demo of the day later on. I want to remind you that Leanne's bags are flying out the door. Leanne did these bags the other day that are filled with goodies, and there's loads and loads and loads of treats in here. I won't go through this because it will take me ages, but it's my everyday bag that I've got here. If you do like the surprise bags to be a surprise, just close your eyes for me. Just close your eyes for a minute. And I'll just show you, because I know some people like these to be the surprises. For our lovely everyday one, we have got for you in here, this is just some of the things I'm going to show you. So this is in it. Do you know what? I've got 3 minutes. I can go through all these. They call me Speedy Gonzales. They don't. If they did, I'd be very upset. Let me show you. So that's in the box. This here is in the box. Check this out. Absolutely cram-packed full. Becky, surely that doesn't say over 200 elements. Oh, yeah, it does. That's in there. I've got some of this here for you too. So we've got some consumables, loads of different designs and patterns on there. Great colours. I've also got a few things that aren't consumable. So things like stamps and dies that will last and last and last, and you will use time and time again, and you will use them day after day, week after week. Look at that one. I mean, this one here, you will be you'd be paying near that price on screen for that alone. I've got this for you as well for a little bit of texture in your designs. I've got this one here too, which gives texture and cuts out at the same time. And then the one that everybody wants. I honestly think that if we just sold this item for the price on screen, people would buy it. Yep. Merch. Not even us members of staff can get our hands on this piece of merch. I will show you around it in case you've not seen it before. It is, without telling you exactly what it is, it's delicious, yum, yum, yum. Oh, put it back nice and cool. So we have got that in there for you. If you were closing your eyes for the surprise, open your eyes now, order now, and you will be so thankful you did. £35 for all of that. I mean, it is sensational. There is also a Christmas version one, which, from my memory, had 11 items in it, which meant it's like around £3 per item. Makes no sense, but hey, treat yourself whilst you absolutely can. Gwen, thank you so much for this show. Now, you're coming back with us later, which I'm looking forward to. What are we expecting?
I'm going to show you some of those little icons on their own. I'm going to show you how to make a really quick couple of cards, and then I'm going to show you how to build a scene.
Perfect. Now, do make a note of this. Gwen will be back with you at 6 p.m. tonight. That's 1 p.m. or 10 a.m. dependent where you are in America. Make a note of it, set your alarm. We will be back with you in an hour. We'll be doing more of those demos. We've got Debbie's double discounts, and we've got loads more inspo. So we'll see you in an hour.